Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Lost History. Today we are starting this grand adventure. I'm really excited. We already did an episode 0. It's optional content if you want to go and watch this. It's basically just an introduction of some of the characters and the place where where this adventure is going to take place. The first arc is going to take place in Iberia. It is a medieval land inspired by Ireland, England, a little bit of France. Like Anima, it's inspired from a lot of different things. It is known as the Land of Eternal Rain, and we will be following a group of very colorful characters who are on their way to try to piece together the mysterious past. They, all three of them, have been born as Nephilims, creatures, humans who are reincarnated souls from a previous life where they were supernatural creatures, and currently inhabit this human body with strange flashbacks and dreams that remind them of their past lives. You are all accompanying an archaeology expedition sent by, I think, the land of Ilmora, that has one of the greatest universities in the world, and is trying to uncover the mysteries of the past. Your characters have already joined the expedition, and we're going to do a short introduction for the character of Lustitia, of like how she, at the moment when she joined the expedition, before we jump right in. Beforehand, we can all talk about ourselves and our characters really quickly, introduce ourselves to everyone, and just set up the mood. So I am Simon. I've been playing Anima for I was 16, I'm 26, 10 years. Yep, I've been GMing Anima for 10 years. One of my favorite games, and I'm trying to show on the channel how to play it without the problematic aspects of all of those sexist images that are in the game, like I mentioned in the review that I did of the game. I really like the lore, and this is going to be a great opportunity for us to explore that lore, because this campaign is going to be all about the history of Anima, the artifacts, the places, and the secret history that we're going to uncover. Armand, you're next on the screen next to me. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and your character?
I'm the player Armand, but my real name is Justin. I've been playing Anima for about over 5 years at least. I started with Pathfinder back in high school. It's been quite some time now. Currently a college student. I'm looking forward to this game. Had a lot of fun with Session 0. So, yeah.
All right. Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam. I have been also GMing this game, but sadly I think I'm only at 8 years now. But I still love it too. I work as a barista, so I don't have. I'm also still in college, hopefully for network security in the next semester. But that is about it for me.
Okay. Well, I want to apologize beforehand because my accent's still a little bit heavy. So if you guys need me to repeat something, I'll be glad to do it. They call me G, like just the letter in real life, because otherwise my name is literally impossible to pronounce. And I've been only playing Anima for 1 year, and during that year, I've been DMing one of the most awesome games that I had played with very nice people. So I know a little bit about Anima, but there's so many things that you never know everything, you know, guys, what I mean? So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I've been GMing for 10 years and I still discover some new rules that I didn't know about in Applebee's game, for example. So there's always stuff left. Would you like to introduce your character a little bit more since you weren't here at the first session and your character didn't really get like a proper introduction?
Sure.
I like you did this very beautiful backstory imitating the what's it called? The dramatis personae style of like one of the books that came out for NPCs. So here you go.
Lustitia, she's a saint proclaimed by the church after a very shady At the same time, it's a person that likes to travel around the world and more not trying to, because she likes to help out people wherever she goes, but at the same time is she seems that she goes around the world looking for something, not because she's just helping out people, even though that she does it because she likes it. And the way she looks, she's very tall, fair, of about 23 years. She's blind, and she always wears like a massive brown coat cloak on top of her, and she looks like you know, guys, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
The Disney Hunchback.
Oh yeah, it's like she has a hump. So
Wow.
Right.
Do you walk hunched over?
As
huh?
Do you walk hunched over?
Yes.
Okay.
So your character joined the expedition just a little bit after Armand Gray. You basically, the expedition turned around at Reston and headed to the frontier where you were supposed to meet the expedition. You were escorted there, Justicia, by two inquisitors. The inquisitors have been kicked out of Alberia, and legally speaking, they are not allowed in the country anymore. Ever since one of them caused a little bit of trouble, and the entire religion has gone from being the national religion to Lydium, the old ways, being the national religion, by order of Queen Mariel Roy. So, as you are making your way into Alberia, joining the Inquisition, in the background, there is a okay, 1 second. In the background, the two Inquisitors have set ablaze a cart that was leaving Alberia with a couple of merchants inside of it, and the Inquisitors, inspecting the place, since they are allowed to do so in Danaborn, in the country of Danaborn, have found that they were transporting illegal wares, contraband of the worst kind, heretical contraband, objects from Alberia that can only bring doom to the rest of the world, and so they swiftly brought justice to respond to this crime. And you can still feel the heat from the wagon, and the cries of pain of the two merchants still echo in your ears when one of the Inquisitors comes towards you and says, "We're at the frontier now. The expedition is right this way."
I'm so sorry.
He like.
It's just
Hmm?
I still am. She looks at the Inquisitor, touches his elbow, and trying to find her way to tell him, I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm still not used to this kind of destruction.
I understand. Still, you're going to be entering lands where we cannot. We can't bring the light of Christ in there. We can't pass judgment on the heretics that walk those roads, and you can't do anything about whatever your expedition is going to find. That's all going to be on you. I hope you know what to do.
I do
And,
understand. May I know your name?
I'm Inquisitor Gavin.
Oh, Gavin. She hugs Gavin, and she tells him in the ear, "A good way home."
Sorry, I only heard the end of your sentence.
I'm
I
sorry.
only heard you say a good way. It's okay.
I hope you find a good way home.
May God be with you. And you feel he basically presses something against you, and like you feel that it's this heavy book that almost feels like armored. Like in your hands, it like the metal this metal reinforcing the cover, and in and like you recognize the letters that indicate this is a Bible, but like one of the like very large ones that he's basically like letting you bring into Alberia. And Armand, you see the caravan burning in the distance as basically your expedition is just looking at the scene and waiting for the saint to join the expedition. From what you've been told, it is customary to have a Christian saint follow expeditions like this. It's already been done in the previous expedition that they had to Stygia, in order to, bless people's souls in case they should die during the expedition, and they would need a proper burial, even in heathen lands. Do you have any particular reaction to this entire scene when Justicia joins the expedition?
So I saw the merchant like caravan being burnt in the distance.
Yeah, it's not exactly a caravan. It was just like one wagon getting pulled by an old mule, and you don't know exactly what the contents were, but it's not. But until recently, the Inquisition was allowed to do these sorts of things inside of the land of Alberia. So it's not an uncommon scene. It's just something you haven't had to deal with for the past 8 months, I think. Blah blah blah. Oh, 2 years ago. Yeah, it's something you haven't had to deal with for like about 2 years.
He'll just lightly mutter to himself, "The good things are out there, not in here." I guess I'm gonna go meet up with this saintess.
Okay. So a couple of people are welcoming her. One of them is where are members of the expedition. One of them is Thomas Armans, the sponsor of the expedition. It's the first, and it's time for me to use the old male voice, my voice changer.
Oh.
Does that sound anything like an old man's voice?
There's a lot. It does sound a little bit like one, but there's a lot of reverb in there. It sounds like an old man underwater.
Yes. Perhaps you could just go with the decade impression.
Well, I'm gonna go with this for now, and
He sounds like a
we'll-
team.
I'll
I would
see
honestly-
what this.
Simon, I honestly think that it's I rather hear your normal voice.
Okay, understood.
Ah,
I'm going back to the new effects, and I'm gonna keep it like this for the game. All right, so this
Mr. Thomas.
but hello, call me Mr. Armand. I'm the sponsor of this expedition. It's very nice to have a good Christian saint with us. I'm honored to meet you. I know a lot about the science of Christianity. You must be one of the recent ones. I've not heard of you before. Well,
it's
I
such a
tried to do a little bit of research, but
Oh, it's fine. It's
Didn't
fine.
find
Don't
anything.
worry. It's such a pleasure, Mr. Armand. Thank you for receiving.
I'll be glad to have someone who has their feet on the ground and right faith in their heart with us in Alberia.
Oh, for sure. I'll. And if you need anything I can try to help out, I will help out. Even though, well, you know, and she scratches a little bit at her face.
Well, yes. Are you okay with this armor that you're? Are you going to be okay with moving around with the armor like this? From what I know, Alberia isn't as dangerous as the Inquisition might have made you think.
I'm okay with it. I'm probably gonna leave all my stuff. Where can I leave all my stuff?
Oh, here. We're gonna put a little bit of room for you in the foods carriage, right this way. You know what? We'll carry it for you. Come on, Lucent, get to it.
Oh, you don't have to carry it for me. It's fine. But thank you so much.
And like, he turns around. He says, "Oh, and this is Armand. Great. He's going to be our guide through the different forests we're going to be going through. We're heading to the forest of Glenda, and after that, towards the forest of Whispers. That he's supposed to know very well. Local. Doesn't even have much of an accent. I can actually understand what he says." Hello,
He
Mr.
kind of
Gray.
just looks at the old man like, really? Yes. I'm glad you can understand me.
I extend my hand to try to salutate Armand, but I just go to the opposite way because
Over here.
I'm sorry, Armand.
It is okay.
It's a
Didn't catch
pleasure.
your name.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Have you been in all these forests by yourself?
Oh no, I have not been to every forest.
But you seem brave, anyway. Like not everybody is capable of exploring all these strange and mysterious passages by themselves.
To me, they are neither strange nor mysterious. Just home.
Well, I hope we get
You have
along
heard.
this time.
Sorry. Armand, you have heard of the legends that there are some very strange things in some of the forests of Alberia. For example, the forest of the Eternal Night, all the way towards the top of Alberia, in the land of the O'Arian clan, is haunted as fuck, as the locals say.
Seriously, in my eternal lore, I've never been past the mountains of the light.
Yeah.
I've mostly
And
been
the
in
forest
warmer
of
area.
Yeah, and the Forest of the Mirror have their fair share of disappearances and stuff like this. Like you're very near the Forest of Souls, which, according to legend, like which has like a strange phenomena where trees mature very quickly and then die very quickly after about 100. After like about 80 years. And so the legend goes that basically there's one tree for every human soul in the world, and that their lives are linked, and so it is absolutely forbidden to cut down trees in the Forest of Soul. Like that's just some of the local legends that you can find in the lore book, but yeah. I do not see you anymore, Sam.
Sam has to
Yes,
go off.
yes, I'm still here, but my camera's off just for a moment.
Okay, no problem.
I have people moving around in the background.
I cannot
Okay.
see you anyway, so it's
Anyways, I'm going to move y'all to the map where we had stopped the previous game in the ruins, and your characters and the players had very interestingly shared some of their observations that they had at the end of the last game, where you kind of figured out a lot of what I was going for with what those ruins were meant to be. So while you two were exploring this place, put this back on. While you two were exploring this place, Lusticia, not having her eyesight, didn't get much of the clues of this of like what this place looks like and things like this. So you are at the top of the hill with Thomas Armand, who's basically just giving orders, getting people prepared, saying, "Go and have a look at this half-buried pillar over there. I want to see if we can dig it up and observe what's on it." And like, so you get a few clues as to like different spots in the ruins. It's the ones that have like written in white. Did you watch the video of episode 0?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you already like made a description of this, and yeah. So we are going to resume the scene we had interrupted last time, where Iscaridin, you were in the process of figuring out what this place was. What do your characters do now?
Well, first we're thinking about digging up some bones. My next hope was to go and look just at the anvil and see if I could notice anything interesting about the anvil.
All right. So you head towards the anvil. It's basically this old, rusted chunk of metal that vaguely has that like you're not sure is actually an anvil, but it kind of has the shape of it, and it has the dents in it of like strong blows having impacted its surface. So that's you think where the archaeologists got the idea that this thing was an anvil. To the side, there's still a lot of activity where Armand picked up pieces of a human skeleton that are right now being excavated, and you hear Armand's saying, "If there's gonna be a lot of bodies in there, start digging in this area. I want to find as many clues as possible about their clothing, the position they're in, things like this." And you Armand, you're going to notice that Lucent, the artist, who'd been drawing the scene up until now, like making rough sketches of it, looks up at this, turns around, and is going to look very worried, and then go and try to talk to Thomas Armand at the top of the hill. And as the scene keeps unfolding for you, their voices are going to start becoming louder and louder. What do you do, Armand?
Well, I was going to leave the excavating of the bones to the professionals. And if I were to see Iscaradin make a way to the anvil, I'd go keep him company so I'm out of the way.
Okay. So both of you make your way to the anvil, and
if I am on top of the hill, wouldn't I be beside them and they are like yelling
Yes.
super hard?
yes, they are basically starting. Lucent is telling Thomas that it's it might not be the best idea to dig up bodies, and Thomas is answering that they didn't get a proper Christian burial. It's not like we're sacrileging anything, and Lucent seems to disagree. But like right now, it's still somewhat tame, but their voices are going to like get louder and louder. What do you do, Lusticia, in response to that?
I timidly but quickly get close to where I hear their voices coming, and immediately I try to. I'm not going to interrupt them, but I'm extending my hands, like trying to get their attention.
Okay. Go ahead and make a. I think. You're trying to be polite about this, so I feel like the proper one would be the etiquette. Make an etiquette roll. Yeah, you're not getting their attention. They Thomas is getting frustrated very quickly, and Lucent has this terrified look on his face. Has this terrified tone in his voice that you can pick up. But
In
they
the
are
second-
not.
In the second I realize they're not paying my attention, I'm gonna yell, "Gentlemen, please."
You- One second, Lusticia. We came here to dig up the past. We're not gonna be able to understand anything if we don't do that, bodies or not. And Lucent is answering. Oh, I understand. It's just in the previous expedition that I went on, I made a mistake. I made the mistake of doing exactly what you're suggesting, and it was this painting that I was working on of the entire expedition, getting on board the Zeppelin. I couldn't get the proper color brown for the metal Zeppelin, and I finally found something that had exactly that brown and I took it from the tomb. Unfortunately, it was remains of mummies that I ground to dust and tried to use as a paint. And the painting that I made was haunted, and the ghost terrified me all night and almost tried to kill me. And if it wasn't for the saint who was with that expedition, I would be dead. And basically, like Thomas is like, superstitions. That is idiotic. There's no such things as ghosts. You will.
Well,
You
Mr.
definitely got
Thomas,
pranked
Mr.
by one of the locals.
I'm afraid. I really apologize towards you, but I'm afraid that fighting will lead us anywhere, and it will just make us very precious time that we need to keep the excavation going.
Are you trying to like basically tell Lucent to calm down?
Yes.
Is
No,
okay,
not
cool.
Lucian.
In this,
Thomas, Mr. Thomas.
okay, got it. But are you weighing in favor of either one of them?
I'm not in
I didn't
favor
quite
of
hear what
anybody.
you. Okay.
I'm
you're
not in favor of anybody.
okay. Go ahead and try to roll persuasion to get them to do what you want, and if that succeeds, then you will get the. Oh yeah, very good persuasion roll. You are going to basically like get them to calm down, to separate. Lucent is going to head towards the yew tree, where the body was found, and observe the whole thing. With this like worried look on his face, and Thomas is going to keep. Yep.
Sorry, can I talk to them before they separate?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna
what do
tell
you-
Mr.
what do you tell them?
Mr. Thomas. I'm really sorry, but I think in the end we all should try to be more careful. Otherwise, the expedition could go wrong, and we don't do it, and we don't want that.
You're right, but I'm not going to let local superstitions and weird traditions stop us from finding out the truth about this place and its mysteries. We came here to discover everything, to record it, and to bring the truth back to the civilized world. And that is exactly what we're going to do.
Will you be okay if I talk to Mr. Lucius about it so he feels better?
My name is Lucent.
Lucent, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Go ahead, talk to him. Get some sense into him. I'm gonna keep working on organizing this place, and you stop spreading ideas that could get my workers afraid of doing their work. I won't permit any of this. You might be a good you might be good at painting things, but that's no excuse. Thomas, heads off.
Okay. Well, again, thank you very much, Mr. Thomas, and I apologize before.
You don't need to apologize. So, you calm this youngling down. That's very good of you.
Okay.
Lucent turns to you, and he says, "What did you want to talk to me about?"
Well, I'm gonna walk with Lucent down a little bit down the hill, and meanwhile we're walking down the hill, I tell him, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Lucius. I'm Lucent. I'm bad with names. My memory is not that good. But I just want you to tell me more about your stories. I believe that they are very relevant to what we're doing."
So this group of expedition that we're going with, we already went to Stygia to uncover things in a pharaoh's tomb. It was very interesting, and Sophia was there, and what's his name? The saint called Lutwin was with us. You have heard of this saint. Like, this is the image of a Duxarist, but I'm still using that's the image that we used. If you're interested in this story, it's on the channel. It's a previous campaign that I ran called ruins of the old world, and like basically I'm like pulling some of the ideas and the characters from this story.
When
But,
Lucien
yeah.
starts telling me this story,
Mhm.
and we're still walking, I go ahead and tell him, well, I still don't believe Mr. Thomas is able to understand all that. You know, some people are not believers in certain. But you know what? I met somebody with a lot of expertise, and when I arrived here, do you know Mr. Armand?
Um, our guide? Yes. Yes. He might know about. He might have seen things in the forest. He might be able to convince Armand to slow down.
Indeed. Well, we can call him.
He's right this way. He's next to the anvil with Mr. Iscaridin.
Will you
Mr. Rowe.
let me?
Hmm?
Will you let me there, please?
Yes, right this way. Follow me.
Thank you.
Right. So,
Meanwhile-
just before they show up, Armand and Iscaridin, you were hanging out.
They're hanging out. I'm looking at this anvil. Can we hear them arguing up there?
Yeah, you heard them arguing. Like they started getting loud until Lusticia.
Did we hear the
like,
part about the ghost painting?
I think because it's like I'm gonna need you to roll notice for this because he was a little bit quieter. Doesn't really like talking about that incident. Also, I based myself for this incident on something that my ancestors did. French and British people raided a bunch of pyramids and used mummies as paint for a lot. Yeah, it's something that really happened.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad. And,
You can feel the past on that painting.
yeah, there's probably a lot of museums in Paris and London that are haunted as fuck. Yeah, Armand. Wait, did I ask you for a notice check?
I mean, I'm there too, so.
Oh, yes. So Armand, you definitely heard the part about ghosts. Iscaridin, you did not. You heard, like you're not used to the sound of rain being ever present and dulling your senses a little bit.
I wanted to make sure there was rain also. In that case, he has like, can I addendum that he has like a really big poncho on and he has his book underneath it and he's constantly like hunched over to try to make sure no water gets to it.
Sure. Sounds good.
Just says, what do I notice about this anvil first off? Just as you said, it seemed like weathered anvil. It looks like it's been used. Armand's here, so I can't use my power. Does it have any visible blackening or silver on it?
It does have a little bit of this black residue on it that seems to like trace them out. And the anvil seems to be made out of, I'm gonna say, iron. It's at this point it's like old, brown, and rusted. You are going to be able to make out some, like some things that were engraved in the anvil. A few runes in the ancient language of the elves. Give me.
Oh, really?
I know it's something. I think it's something called Ultwe.
Ultwe Alari. I actually have my page open.
Ah, yeah. It's in Ultwe Alari. You can't make out the details, but you can recognize some of the letters as that ancient language. The thing is, you never learned that language in this life.
I did. I was
You
actually
just-
going to ask.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was actually going to say, technically, that because of where he's been, he has had chances to learn so many languages. But I don't want to just say he knows all of them. I was gonna say, can I roll like a D10, and on a 9 or a 10 he knows a language?
Sure. Make that an
Okay.
8, a 9, or a 10 because you went to like the best universities of the old continent to study history. So old languages like this is probably something that like whether or not you know
Nope.
it, you always had. All right. Whether or not you know it, you've always had a knack for recognizing the letters of Ultualaria.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Really quick, this rule is for Ailish. Okay, I was gonna say if he doesn't know Ailish, he's currently studying Ailish because of where we are, but he knows it.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yeah, for Justicia, English is the is the language of the locals. A lot of locals do not speak Latin, which is the common tongue in this setting. And those who do speak Latin do so with heavy accent. I'm not very good at doing accents, but think Scottish or Irish type accents.
I can't do those.
I have a friend who I deeply miss now because he's really good at them. That's
Yeah. Armand, you probably have one of those accents from the south of Alberia that are like tamer because you're closer to the border of the rest of the empire or something.
I can always try though, if you want.
It could be fun. I know that I will sound ridiculous if I try. So yeah. Do you do anything with Iscarian Row as you're like moving towards him?
Yeah. I kind of like lean over. You catch all that?
all of the bones.
No, the argument. You hear about the haunted painting?
No, the haunted painting.
Yeah, apparently they used some corpses to make paint. It got haunted. Crazy, right?
That sounds ridiculous, but yeah, also creepy. How would you use corpses as paint?
Well, you grind them up, obviously. Like mummified corpses. Like dried up husks.
And they didn't know they were. Well, he's gonna hush his voice
Whoa.
too. They didn't know.
No, I think he clearly knew he was turning a mummy into paint, which is... Personally, that's a bit much for me.
I guess I would give points for creativity. But no. I hope it doesn't keep telling stories like that. That's gonna make this a lot harder. Anyways, what did you find over there?
Oh, just some bones.
Just bones. You said did I hear that they were human bones?
Yes, they were human in shape.
Okay. That goes with the picture I've been slowly gathering of this place. He's gonna point out
Hold on. Did you... He just looks around. You never got the feeling that we were being watched or something, did you?
well, I imagine that the sponsor's been watching all of us.
Never mind. And I think I heard some footsteps, and I like turned.
You turn to see Justicia and Lucent
When
heading
you turn-
towards you. Where they're right in front of us. And hello, gentlemen.
Wouldn't you be afraid of that I am the one who's watching over y'all?
Why would I be afraid? You can't see me.
I'm afraid I cannot, sir.
That's right. Well, I'll be the eyes here. Don't worry. You just read or rely on that large Bible of yours. Don't hit me.
I hugged it. I hugged the Bible, and I lean a little bit. I do a little reverence, and I tell him, "I will certainly will, sir."
Oh, Lucent, thank you for escorting the Sanctus?
You can call me Lou. It's fine.
All right.
I think the term is think the term is gender neutral.
I was gonna say I don't think there's a
That's
gender
like
term.
That's what Lucent says.
Excuse my
I've-
Latin.
I've-
Very poor.
It's fine. I've always had trouble with understanding why everything has to be gendered in Latin. English is much easier for rhymes. A quick question: have you ever come across anything weird or supernatural in the forests? I'm trying to tell Thomas, sorry, Mr. Armands, that it might not be the best idea to dig up bodies. It's, you know, this place. It might have been a sacred site. We might be getting ourselves into some trouble, and I've been in this kind of trouble in the past, and I almost died. I got trapped into a haunted tomb for half a day, and was really lucky that there was a saint there to get us out. Just, yeah. Have you come across weird stuff?
Well, out of character. Armand does have the eyes of the supernatural and the eyes of death, so I'm sure he's seen things before. Maybe an
Like,
average ranger
literally-
might have gone without seeing anything, but there's probably impossible that he went off and not see anything.
I see everything.
Literally, you look at Lucent and you can see like the places on his body which are weak point, where you would strike in order to like do a critical on him instantly. Like you see those lines, those shapes coming out of
See
him,
those everywhere.
and his and like you're like, and what do you say?
I wouldn't worry about it. I haven't seen anything like that around here.
Side note: would he have seen or had a notice check for me casting spells in that case?
I know he can see spirits, but he can see the supernatural. And
Yeah, he can see
if
all
I
of
remember,
the spells.
there is something about this though. I reread the content for that recently. If the magic is hidden in any way, I don't think that he can actually see it. I am checking right now. So I think if you were trying to hide your magic away, he wouldn't have been able to like note it immediately.
It all depends, because
Baron-
I've heard that you have Earth, the Earth one.
Earth magic?
Earth magic. Most of the Earth spells can be interpreted in a way that they don't look like magic at all. They can be, oh, it's an earthquake, and everybody's like, oh my god, an earthquake, and nobody realizes it.
In the event of an endemic spell, a character with the ability to see magic may perceive an ethereal claw reaching out to his heart, or some runes being drawn in the air trying to inscribe themselves in his body. This ability allows a character to detect the strangeness of a magical phenomenon. Even if his spell takes the shape of a swarm of insects, the character would detect an abnormal quality about it. Are you always entitled to perceive when you are affected by a spell? As a general rule, the answer is yes. The ability allows you to see a strange entity approaching. However, they may not realize blah blah blah. Notice check of moderate difficulty from medium to very difficult. I'm gonna say difficult. So to notice that Iscaridin was casting magic.
One of the spells affected him too.
I know you had the detection spell that detected some of the silver on in his quiver. Ooh, open roll. Yeah. You saw the detection spell that looked kind of like a this ripple coming out of his keratin, and like kind of like a sonar, and it bounced off of your quiver, and it bounced, and the wave also bounced off of the the stone basin with blackened metal. That's right here.
Oh.
Oh, dang it! I wanted to describe that, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you describe
Feel
your
free to.
spells from here on. So yes, you did notice something.
Have I ever
You are
seen
the,
magic before this?
Yes. You'd have spotted people doing weird things either at carnivals or doing tricks or things like this, or just looking at some of the priests or priestesses of Lilium from afar. You'd be able to like notice a strange aura about them. So yes, you have seen stuff.
No. I haven't made a fuss before. I won't make a fuss now, but I will keep a mental note of this.
Okay. Well, who should I ask then that could help me to convince him? Should I try to convince him? I don't want to get fired. I just don't want to get haunted again.
We have a saint with it. I don't think you have anything to fear.
However, I still believe that Mr. Lucent's opinion is very important, and what we're doing here with those poor little souls that were buried, it may not be right. But
Perhaps
I
sorry,
didn't
go
see
ahead.
any souls down there. He says ominously. I can see spirits, by the way, just to clarify.
You can see ghosts.
No, I was out of character.
Okay.
oh, okay.
Perhaps we could observe some additional rituals after we pick them up and give them a better burial than they've seen over there in that little copse.
Oh, you're right. Will that make you more comfortable, Mr. Lucent?
Yeah, that's kind of what the other saint did when I got haunted. Okay, all right, that's appreciated.
Yeah, just avoid using the bones to make paint.
Excuse me, what?
Wow, you have very good ears. I was all the way on that hill when I said that.
He just shrugs. It's in the profession.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Lucent, I'm sorry, what's your name, sir? And I asked to the person that I haven't seen before.
You haven't seen any of them.
Well, I haven't seen anything.
I was about to say.
Me? My name is Carrie. You could just call me Ro or Professor.
Oh, Professor, will you mind me taking note of it and taking nobody does anything bad to those corpses?
You're cutting off a lot, Jay. Do you think you could? I think it might be like the your mic's.
Is it just me, or
sensitivity.
it's like the internet, or like this? Can you hear me like all right?
Yeah, we can hear you all right now.
Perfectly like this now.
Okay, it's my microphone that's a little bit odd, but I got you.
Could you repeat what you were saying, please?
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Professor, could you mind taking notes of the corpses that they unburied so we can give them their proper treatment afterwards and making sure nobody does anything bad to them?
And now it's your turn to be muted, Sam.
Yeah, I muted myself. I said, of course, I'll note every piece of bone we find. And, I'm an amateur in medicine. Maybe I can find the bone's proper owners. Put them all together for a singular burial, too.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm uh, I'm gonna go and draw over there. And like Lucent is going to leave the archaeological sites to draw it from the outside.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, be sure to get the mural.
By the way, in chat, just before the game, I wrote the description of the mural. I didn't have time to draw it. It's been a hell of a week, but you got like every important aspect of this in the description right here. To the side, the one of the pillars is getting unearthed, and you hear a lot of excitement. Sophia goes towards that pillar. We're going to say that it's this pillar right here, and it's basically like a fallen pillar, and it's been unearthed, and it seems to have an entire text all over it. And I want to thank Jay for helping me make this beautiful image that you're all going to see of the pillar with the text on it. Okay, so the expedition is like the expedition is like unearthing this giant pillar. The words on it are in Ultuelario, but Sophia knows some of that, and like is and like I think Iscaridin, you're able to like piece together the meaning of this thing even without knowing the knowledge, because you used to be an elf, and you can read what it says. Can use I've also put the text beneath the image if you want to have access to it. Would one of you, like Sam, like to read it for everyone? Or...
Okay. So as he's moving around, he is having Sophia help him, because he's like ducking underneath his coat and he has his book, and he'll say, 13 heroes rise and rise again. 13 weapons they must obtain. First the arrows for Rain Fortinbras, and he's gonna like slowly look at Armand. Like the others, you will die alas. For King Dullahan and his brother, Queen Fortinbras shall soon have ruin. A sword and cape in the darkest hour. And then later, she cannot win. Sin, and he'll look down, Sign, Verdal, and Geiger, in you will burn. Asclepius goes to the Elven Mage, who can answer the riddle of age. Like the others, they must die and then return. Aegis goes to the angel tied by fate. For your many deaths, I cry silver. Even right now, it's...
Wait,
The pillar and the text are not the same.
They're not the same?
Oh,
They're
okay.
it's been rearranged a bit.
The pillar has it all right. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know why, but when I pasted it in Roll20, it fucked it up a lot. I am sorry.
Oh, okay.
On top of that,
I can read it off of the other thing.
Okay. On top of hold on, just give me 1 second. I will put it back because it's supposed to run much better than this.
Yeah. Like
also,
go ahead.
Also, I gave Jay the old version of the poem before I rectified it, because Fortinbras is the first name, not the last name, and like so Rain is it's Rain Adorhade, not Rain Fortinbras. Sorry about that. Sorry about
I was just say
that.
Rain's the brother and Fortune Brother's sister.
Yeah. Yeah. I rewrote it since. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, like I was like this is all out of order. Okay, let's do this again. Control C. Okay. A. Control V. Yes. Okay. It seems to be in order now. Sorry about that. Okay. Do you want to read it again, or do we want to move on? It's up to you all.
I'll read it again. Are we taking it from the top?
Yeah, please.
Okay. 13 heroes rise and rise. 13 weapons they must obtain. Arrows for the brother of Fortinbras. Like the others, you will die, alas. For King Dullahan and his brother, a sword and cape in the darkest hour. Queen Adelheid shall soon have ruin, and then later she cannot win. Asclepius goes to the elven mage, who can answer the riddle of age. Like the others, they must die, and then return. Sin, Verdal, and Geiger and you will burn. Aegis goes to the angel tied by fate. Even right now, it's not too late. The paths of Lilium lead to victory. Nue and Nuada, it is their destiny. For your many deaths, I cry silver. For the foals of Gaybog, I cry a river. Finally, Egdal will be their leader. Until their last life and their final hour, 13, when these words your ears attain, then 13 it's time to die again.
Well done. Well done.
Have it down in my book.
Like like Sophia turns to you and says, "You translated that very quickly."
Well, I admit I have not studied it formally, but I've always wanted to. It's a beautiful language.
You
Was
have
I able to
knack
read
with
it?
languages, I see. You were, if you encounter a text in Nepronus, you will be able to read it with the same ease. The Nepronus is the language of the Dark Elves.
Right.
How much is your intelligence? That's like basically
5.
covers how many? 5? Yeah, you know Aelish and Latin and Nepronus, and that's it for now.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Right. So, Sophia turns to you, Ro. She says, "This I've never seen a site that was all over the place like this. There's so many mismatching elements. I really don't know what this place could be, because there's the mural. That's one type of art. There's the text that seems to be some sort of ancient poetry. There's the anvil. So maybe something to do with forging. Maybe this could be a temple of the arts.
Well, it's definitely a place where things are built or made. I believe that basin over there also is instrumental in the creation of objects. It looks like there's smelted silver all over the base. But then there's the altar too. He's gonna look.
Silver. You see her like opening a book, rifling through it, and she says, "Yeah, the legendary 13 weapons were supposed to have been dipped in the tears of Lysandra, Queen of the Banshees, who cried in silver. And if I remember correctly, yeah, those names you said, Sin, Gigjur, and Egdal, all of these are names of legendary heroes of the Lilim religion. Might be a religious place? Those heroes were supposed to have appeared decades apart. Well,
May I roll
yeah.
occult? I have a I don't know. I'm specialized in occult
Specialty?
and religion. Yes, specialty.
Alright. Go ahead and make your roll. What information are you trying to gather?
Okay, am I? You were talking about?
Oh yeah, you're in the same group.
Okay. So when I listen to their talking, I would like to recall my history lessons of other religions to try to see if I know about the Lilium and these magical and legendary weapons.
Okay. Go ahead and roll occult.
I just don't want to like everybody knows what are they doing, and I'm like, what's going on?
That is fair. You unfortunately in this life you have not heard of the 13 weapons. It doesn't really ring a bell. Like I know Armand has one in his quiver. And Professor Rowe came across another one recently, but it's like you know more about the Christian myths and such. So something dipped in banshee tears is not like your
Gotcha.
cup
It's
of
fine.
tea.
It's good to be ignorant.
Well, Sophia, while you are considering that, I think I might like to have a continued look at the anvil, if that's up.
Yes.
Armand, your sharp eyes would be appreciated.
Very well. I will assist
Okay.
Sarah Scarabin.
He's gonna go all the way around the anvil and crouch down and look at the anvil and say, "So, do we know that this old man is over here?"
He's just walking around.
Okay. Oh no. So that's unusual. And he opens his book to the page where he's written it all down. Is
it all right we left the blind woman back there?
Is it all right for us to what?
That we just left her there. We kind of brought her to the pillar. Now we just
Oh,
kind
whoa.
of walked away.
She's
rather
with Sophia.
rude.
She's with Sophia. We'll get her. We'll help her out in a moment. She'd probably not appreciate us talking about this anyways.
You see her just standing in the rain. Also, she's wearing armor and two, and she has one shield on each arm.
No, I left everything
Oh,
in my tent. I'm barefoot. I'm sitting
Oh,
on the
okay,
floor.
got it.
Why did they not give her a cloak? Do we have any more ponchos like I have in the wagon?
I have a cloak. It's fine.
Yeah, she has a cloak that's hiding her hunch.
But
Okay.
thank
Oh
you.
yeah, hunch cloak. Good. I just wanted to say for a moment that was odd.
What was odd?
Don't you remember the name Fortinbras?
He saw a moment. From a couple days ago.
Yeah. From that really weird time.
Yes. Weird things do happen around you, I agree.
Is this normal?
What?
is this normal in Alperia?
What you do? A little bit.
No, what do you mean? Record things?
He just like tilts his head a bit. You know what I mean. And then he'll like drop it.
Do I know what he means? There's an innuendo roll in D&D. Oh, I know what he means. But there's an innuendo roll in D&D. There's not in anime.
Can we? Do I have to roll persuasion
You like
to give him the innuendo?
I think Ro, you are aware that some people who have the gift are able to sense others who have the gift.
Yeah, I'm
since you
just
have
like,
the skill.
I don't want to admit to it, because what if he's like, he knows I like
talking about something else.
I like pressing flowers, and then I'm like, I could do magic. Stunned for a moment. I mean, visions like we had.
I've had them only in dreams since, but when I met you, we had a very vivid vision.
Okay, so it's not the usual. You don't see those with everybody all the time.
No.
Okay. We have a lot more to talk about. I guess we should go get her now.
Yes. She like leans over. She does seem rather pitiful. Hold on.
You regroup.
I will also regroup.
Together. So like, currently everyone seems to be trying to piece together what exactly the purpose of this place is. Ro, I think at the end of the last game, you seem to have a pretty definitive idea of like what the purpose of this place is. Do you want to share with the class?
Well, he knows what it is, and he's like keeping. He actually has his whole observation in his notes, but he's not sure he wants to just state it. Well, no, he'll be okay with Sophia. He's watching the sponsor. The sponsor's away, isn't he?
Yeah, the sponsor is still pretty far away.
Okay, so he's gonna say, Sophia, form a circle with us really quick, if you would. I have a faint idea of what this place might be, and we've only been here a few hours. It's rudimentary at best, but the mural, the way they postured the food, and those elderly couple seem reminiscent of a lot of other places I have been, and generally when they're displayed like that, they're meant for sacrifice. And he'll like slowly point to the bloodstained altar, then to the bonfire circle. And I think
religious sacrifice?
I think so. Perhaps for the purpose of, at least in their minds, strengthening the materials they were working. Like I said, it's very rudimentary.
What sort of reinforcements are you talking about? The iron in the blood, or?
Well, obviously, if you put blood into a weapon, it won't reinforce it. But there are many ancient beliefs that the souls of people can be infused into physical objects to enhance them with supernatural properties. And whether or not that is true, that I think might be the belief they had.
Spooky.
Spooky.
There is a reference to 13 weapons on the column that would make sense. There's the anvil, and the bodies under the yew trees would fit into this idea, along with this bonfire circle, and the fact that we're surrounded by yew trees. Yew trees is used for cremation of bodies in Lineum culture.
Yeah.
It seems to fit.
He's only saying this to Sophia.
Yes, Sophia. Like Sophia, you are welcome in this.
Okay.
You are the same.
Oh yeah, but like everybody is here. It's just that like Sophia is part of this conversation as well.
Yes.
And she says, "So, why are you telling just me, our forest guide and the saint?
Well,
Why are you?"
I generally feel like it's a positive thing to have the saint involved in any conversation. But I wanted to have your opinion because we haven't been here very long. Like I said, this is sort of a spur of the moment idea I've had, and I don't want to throw it out to our sponsor and be called a crazy person.
Well,
Yes.
whether or not you believe in the supernatural, the people who inhabited this place certainly did. So, it's I think it fits, and yeah, I think you've determined the first step of understanding this place, Ro. Good
Good.
job.
Thank you.
She taps on your shoulder, and all three of you are going to have a flashback at the same time. Justicia, you remember, you have heard the voice of Iscaridin and Armand before, long before the birth. No! Okay.
Oh, he's gone. Oh no, he left.
His camera locked. It just
I'm back.
disappears.
I am
Yes.
back. Yeah, long before your birth, you heard their voices. Basically, you're all going to remember the scene of when your characters arrived in this place back when it wasn't a ruin. So just give me a second to
Segue.
yeah, segue. I think this one.
By the way, am I aware of the process how to make lawgiver?
Lawbringers, you are aware that it is done. You are so lawbringers are the weapons of the Inquisition. Just for everybody watching, you are aware that it is a specialized knowledge that is not shared with a lot of people outside of the Inquisition, and you can roll occult to have a vague idea of how it's done, or one of the artifact creation skills. If you have it, you probably only have occult, if we're being honest. So go ahead and roll occult again, and hope that you roll a bit better than the previous time. No, you don't know. You don't know how they're done. You just know they're weapons blessed by God. Yeah.
Sad.
Da-da-da.
It's a 4,
Alright.
dude.
So, all three of your characters arrived at the same time in this place. It used to be known as the Clan of the North. Sam knows a lot about the lore of Gaia, so when he makes faces, it's because I'm saying something that's related to like important pieces of the lore. So
I read the lore
this
for fun.
so this place is it used to be a sort of like not necessarily a village, but more of a place where elves would come every year and have all sorts of rituals to celebrate life and the cycle of life, the Lineum traditions. You on your way south to Sylvania for your diplomatic mission, you are encouraged to stop and rest in this place while they're having their festivities of some of their annual festivities, and you are brought inside of the warm like building where the weapons are forged, and you are welcomed by the elf who is the kind of the leader of this place, the High Alchemist Varden Uldel Northhill.
Am I?
This
I got
is
a
what
question.
he-
Am I not blind here?
You are still blind here. Your character
Okay.
sheet is basically the same in both timelines, so that when we do fights and stuff, we just keep the same stats and stuff. So basically, you are going to level up at the same time, both of your characters. If you get a familiar in one timeline, I'll arrange that you get the same familiar in the previous timeline and stuff like this. Okay, I should have a forge sound. Just give me 1 second. No, I do not have a forge sound. I'll look for it later. So yes, this this person welcomes you into near the warm fire of the anvil, and he says, High Priestess for Timbras. We've been expecting you. Actually, we've been expecting you for a very long time, since way before you announced that you were coming on a mission to warn us about this terrible danger that you've been mentioning. Your name came up in the prophecy of Queen Lysandra. We wrote it on the pillar right outside of this place. And we've been preparing, organizing for it since it's been very worrisome, very interesting, very worrisome. You must be Rain. Rain Adelheid?
Yes.
I knew it. You look just like your sister. You have this resemblance. You are mentioned by the prophecy, and I see by the fact that you're carrying a bow that we have the right person. You're supposed to receive arrows. Hold on. And like he takes a metal chest, opens it, and he says, "All right. So far, I've been using the arrows as prototypes for the other weapons that we've been working on, and this is my prototype for Gaybolg, the spear that we will be making soon. But this is Arturus. And it is yours. The first of the 13 I will make for you. Here you are." And like he hands over Arturus.
He looks at it. What does it do?
It's well, I've been working on this idea of creating a Heartseeker weapon, a weapon that can never miss its target. So, as long as you have the target within your aim when you release the arrow, even if you miss if your intention was to hit it, the arrow will change course in order to strike true. I haven't quite tested all of the fine details yet, and it's only supposed to work for the person who was prophesized to have it work for them. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it works as well as it's meant to, but you might even be able to throw it without the bow to activate its aiming power. You might want to try this outside. I have a lot of very precious occult equipment here. Like the whole. And be careful. It's been dipped in silver. I've tried to be to keep the silver just on the weapons part, but just so you know, because I know your kind is allergic and could die from this.
Actually, that's allergic to iron, specifically.
Good to know. I thought all metals could hurt.
No, it is strictly iron.
Good.
Out of character.
Right. And who are you? And like basically he turns to Minif, which is the old name of Sticia, your character. Do you remember why your character is with Fortinbras?
Sorry if I remember it.
Do you remember why your character was involved with Fortinbras back in the past?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you as an angel, as an Ebudan, you have a destiny. You've started to piece that you have to uncover based on a complex tattoo that is on your body. You do not see it, so you need help deciphering it.
Yes.
It takes years and years for every Ebudan to decipher it, but it's supposed to lead you to your destiny, and if you accomplish your destiny, you can go back to the heavens,
Yes.
if you so choose.
And as
you
far as
have
you told me that I know that Fortinbras could help me, and that's it, right?
You know that Fortinbras is involved with your destiny. You know that like part of what you have to do has to do with someone called Fortinbras, and the High Priestess of the Duxarist of the Dark Elves is the most famous Fortinbras that you have that you know of, which is why you've come to join her on her mission. Since she's involved in your destiny, you know that her survival is somewhat important, which is why you've like just been accompanying her so far.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is that what you're going to tell to Varden?
Okay.
Oh, I'm asking. Are you gonna say that, or are you going to?
I'm
say
gonna
something?
tell Mr. Varden. As first off, I appreciate for that he allows us to be right here, because I see that he's a very experienced forger. Is that how you say, steel worker?
Smith.
I am the high alchemist of this kingdom. I make I not only forge objects but also make enchanted weapons.
Oh, well, that's so interesting. Apologize my ignorance, but yes, my purpose of being here, actually, as time goes, is to protect Miss Fortinbras as much as a blind person can.
Yes. You're. Yes, you're. I recognize the wings. You're in Ebudan. You lot always have those strange missions you're on. Very well, very well. So, we are currently in the middle of our yearly process to create something. When we start this process, which we do every year, there's this complex ritual where we bring food to the inhabitants of the forest. They bring food, and we each bring a few more things, and we celebrate the circle of life and death, and celebrate those the idea of the forest that in order for new life to sprout, old life has to decay away and pass on. Old elves who have started to feel pain in their joints and a melancholy in their souls, and who might not want to keep on living, are free to come here and lay down their lives in order to become one with nature again and offer their essence to artifact makings. And some of the old tree spirits whose tree are about to die do the same, and we gather that energy here into the forge and make works of art out of them. It's not just weapons, it's really works of art. We've started the process outside, and we'll show it to you in just a moment. Right now we're just turning the ore into the shape of a weapon. I'm trying to make those 13 weapons with to get this done so that we can move on to some other projects. But I'm very interested in the whole thing. And like while he rambles on, you are you're going to like you see Fortinbras looking around, and she's like there's a few other people working here, and suddenly she starts casting, and you see this like orb of purple energy that like she that she creates, that is very clearly an attack spell. Rain, you know, you've seen her. It's cast this before. It's a sphere of destruction. And she's about to cast it on one of the people working here, obviously with the intent of murder. What do you do, everyone?
I don't see anything.
You do hear the chanting of the spell casting.
I moved to my sister and ask her what is happening.
She like while she's casting, she says, "There's a spy here," and like she's preparing to throw it. Ro, what do you do?
I have nothing I can do, but say, "Sir or Madam, look out!"
Okay. Add to background and ambiance. Perfect. So you are going to warn this person and try to get them to get protected. Give me just one moment to play this. Wait. Sorry. Oh, I don't think. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, everyone. Stay.
It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Add to king. Here we go.
Wait, I could have done something if I beat her initiative, I guess.
Yeah, you can roll initiative. Go ahead and roll initiative. By the way, Minif, Lusticia, you can also try to react. You have the combat style that has to do with being blind, so you are able to react to things like this. You can feel the tingle of magic on your skin. You can hear the words of magic being spoken next to you. Yeah. Okay. I think both of you are faster than the High Priestess Fortinbras. What do you do?
Row?
Hello?
I'll just roll mine just to get out of the way.
All right. You are not. She's faster than you. So you just get to like ask her what's going on and hear that she's talking about a spy.
Okay. Row already did his action.
Ro just warned someone. It's not technically an action. So,
Okay.
like, do you want to do anything else?
Yes.
before the spell is cast?
I will quickly chant a few words, and within a single turn, summon forth or use a. Dang it! I will use the spell Control Minerals, and if I can, this is an earthen floor, is it not?
Yes.
I can manipulate 60 presence, which is enough to build a solid stone wall around the person she's shooting at. Can I do that?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
Now, this is around them, so not like just wall up between us. If I can, I'd like to make it like around the person.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm gonna want you to roll your defensive, basically like your defensive projection to see if you are able to like cast it quickly enough and reinforce it in the right places to stop a destruction spell.
It's predetermined, but I'm going to give it my maximum ability, which is 180.
Okay. All right. And let me roll. Oh, you are able to block the sphere of destruction. It's going to like pierce a large hole in your in the wall and like kind of shatter it, and you all of you can see basically like the heavy smith clothes that the person was wearing are like pulled away, revealing a human man with completely round ears, the first that you've seen here. And Fortinbras turns to Varden and she says, you have a human spy among you, learning your magical secrets. And Varden's like, oh, no, he's not a spy, he's an apprentice here, he's learning our craft and learning the ways of the cycle of life and death. And Fortinbras just says, humans are pests. They have been learning psychic powers by observing the Duxars. They've been learning magic from elven texts that you leave laying around. They've been learning summoning from the divas and key powers from the daimers. Very soon, you will know all of our secret arts, and with their increased numbers, they'll be able to crush us. You shouldn't let them in on things like this. And Varden is just like trying to calm her down. What do your characters do?
I'm gonna run to this human person and I'm gonna ask him if he's okay.
He's inside a wall right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he's like inside of his own little room. One of the walls just like got destroyed, and he's kind of like freaking out. He's saying, "I'm
get very
good."
close to this wall of stone. Are you sure, sir? And I put my ear on the
There's a hole slightly to your left.
Oh, thank you so much. And I try to find the hole, and I put my hand through.
It's like a pretty large, and he says, "Is it safe to come out, or is the elf going to kill me?"
If I may. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I was interrupting.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's okay, sir. I really apologize. I did not expect that coming. And even if he's willing to kill you, I may protect you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you for whoever made these walls. And like, yeah. Go ahead, Ro.
Since that's a maintained spell, I'm still in control. Can I like flatten the walls, go back down?
Okay. You make it disappear.
I'm a magician.
So Varden is saying, it's not customary to attack apprentices here, but you have diplomatic immunity. I just please don't do so again. My apprentices are very skilled, and it's hard to replace them. And I think that is going to be the extent of the flashback that you are going to get.
Okay, I was gonna yell. That was very reckless, Miss Fortinbras, but
At the same time,
I think. Yeah, you get to say that before the end of the flashback. Iscaridin, anything you want to add?
just a sort of a funny thing. Morlias turns to the man and as soon as the flashback drops, he is Iscaridin is going to be, why was he disguised as a human anyways? Or why was he in disguise anyways? And then just look around.
In the background of the flashback,
Oh, like basically,
to be twirling his arrow, eyeing him dangerously.
Yes.
He wasn't disguised at all. He was just wearing regular clothes. It's just like that, like the uniform of the alchemists is the same as
Oh, it's like
as
his.
this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And so like he had the thing covering his head and everything, and
Oh, darn.
yeah, and like basically, you recognized like the anvil and the different pieces of that building as the ruins that you're currently standing in,
Oh.
and you still hear the echo of the forges fading away from your flashback as you all return to the present.
Lock eyes with Sophia. Does she seem like she just saw something?
No, no.
Lock eyes with
Sophia
Lestita.
is-
I can't because she's blind and wearing a blindfold.
I'm sorry.
I look at Ascaridon.
I look at Armand.
I wink.
Well, not. Okay. 1 out of 3. So are we done for the day, or what were you saying, Sophia?
Oh. Well, we're only getting started. We have lots of things to unearth. Let's keep going. And like, she's gonna like go off. She is going to tell you like, good job. Your job as record keeper. Like you're going above and beyond by helping them figuring everything out.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And he looks down at his book, and he has written all of the stuff about sacrifices on a separate page.
All right. What are your characters going to do? You're now a bit more aware of this strange connection that unites the three of you based on your previous memories. So
I'm still suspicious, and I'm gonna separate and head into the forest for a bit.
Oh.
Okay, on my part, when we waked up, you guys could have seen me shaking my head, but I had my lips sealed. I did not say nothing. I accidentally dropped my reinforced Bible on the floor and just silently walked, like wandering completely into the forest, not know where I'm heading or going.
Wait, what'd you drop on the floor?
The reinforced Bible.
Oh,
The-
geez, he's
yeah,
gonna
the
scramble to
reinforced-
pick that up.
All right. Yeah, you pick up like this heavy metal laden Bible as both of your companions just split off and go into different parts of the forest.
Wait, do you actually successfully move into the forest, or do you like hit an object and fall?
I don't know. Probably I just.
Roll a d10.
Like she's been blind all her life, so she's able to like extend her hands and like move around in and like probably use a cane or something to like not like.
I don't
hit
have a
anything.
cane. I
But-
want to purposely get lost in the forest.
Okay, gotcha. Also, something that that is of note: saints are famous individuals who have supernatural capacities or aspects that, but those supernatural aspects have been recognized as gifts from God. So they're so basically they're seen as people who, if they use something that looks like magic, it's probably not magic. It's probably just a gift from God. So like you know that there's probably more to Justicia than meets the eye. Okay, let's start with
Your book.
yeah.
He shouts after his book. Should I put it back in the cart? The carriages?
You see me turning a little bit my head, but like I'm in another train of thought right now. I'm like in another dimension, so I don't pay much attention to you, and I keep wondering,
Oh boy. So where's Sophia? She walked off too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's
Well,
back to like.
Iskaridan is going to hurry back to the wagon with this book and then get back out. Just put the carriage
And
somewhere.
then
The book's somewhere in the carriage where it will not get wet.
okay, and then you're gonna follow Lusticia,
Yes.
or okay. So Armand, where are you going? What are you doing? You are the first.
I'm looking for a
Going to
secluded place in the forest.
Okay. The rain stops for a little bit, and you find you find a place in the forest that is where you can be alone. You're away from the village that has been built near the ruins, and you're by yourself.
And so I pull out Arturus, the arrow, and I calmly look at it, and I remember the flashback of it'll try to hit the target on its own.
Mhm.
And so he'll look at a tree in the distance, about let me say 100 feet away, and he'll just
Okay.
chuck it at it. Of course, he can't throw an arrow that far with just his hand, so
Okay. Like you launch the arrow, and as it looks like it's dipping down and it's not going to be able to reach its target, it straightens back up, and with an extreme velocity, it strikes the bark and like lodges itself a few inches into the wood.
and he just
Despite
frowns
the
at
extreme
that.
distance. That is very clearly supernatural.
Then he just calls out Arturus again, and the arrow just peers back in his hand.
Yep. It's in your hand again.
And he just
So,
puts it
according
away.
to the rules, according to the rules, technically, every time you bring it back in your hand, it appears the next turn. Every time you call it, it appears the next turn in your hand, and you have the penalty for drawing a weapon to the next attack that you make, because like it's an extra movement to draw it, to extend your hand to have it reappear inside of your hand and stuff like this. It's the rules for like the fighting weapons. Just letting you know. Okay.
I'll
What
probably forget, so you have to
is?
remind me in combat.
Yeah, no problem. What is Lusticia doing?
Okay, once she believes herself the forest, she
Mhm.
slowly just like search for the floor where there's more grass and less mud, and just sits down with her like she sits down in a very melancholic way.
Okay.
And by the
Um,
time Iskaridin comes by, you may see me taking off my my old ragged cloak, and you can see how she stretches her back, and at the same time you see that hunch transform into a beautiful pair of wings that stretch from one side to the other.
All right. Is this what I'm seeing, boss?
yep.
Okay. As Carradine like comes to the trees, like looking, she probably knows he's there because they're like, Miss Saint, where are you? Hello.
When she hears your voice, she like freaks out a little and she starts looking around,
Do you
trying to
start looking around?
um looking for her cloak, but she doesn't find it, and she's like, "I'm sorry."
Well, you are a saint. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
I just wanted to make sure that everything was fine. Armand's not here either.
Oh. She looks down into the floor and she says, I'm sorry, mister. I didn't, it was not my intention to scare you.
You didn't scare me. I am a delver into strange and unusual places. I am hard to scare. I was just a little worried. But you all right?
Oh yes, thank you so much. It's just that most people don't just understand.
Well, he looks at you and he says, I can't exactly say I understand, but that's okay. Because I don't understand a lot of things. And trying to figure it out, that's part of my job.
Laughing a little, right, tries to rise on her feet and look for you like with her hands.
He will sort of anxiously like reach out his hand, like, here I am. Touch, here I am.
Do you mind if I take a glance at your face while she stretches her hands?
No, no, I suppose not.
Oh, you wear glasses.
No,
All right, I forgot you
I
don't
don't
wear
have money
glasses
for
either.
glasses. I'm too poor. I'll get glasses later.
We'll buy you some.
Yes,
We'll
please.
get you some. It's fine. Well, she's like touching your face, and she's like, "Oh, but you seem a very fair person."
You could probably feel like his birthmark though is just like oddly like smooth. Like even the rest of his face has a little bit of peach fuzz on it. He's a little scruffy on the chin, but like that part is just totally smooth and very unusual feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know it's maybe not my business, but m- may I ask what happened to you?
I was born this way.
Oh, well, me too. Uh, I mean, I can hide it, but you cannot hide it because it's right in your cheek.
It is on my face, but thankfully, well, at least outside of university days, the academic community appreciates my brain more than my face.
Oh, I know how you feel. I'm sorry.
It's really it's not a problem. I've suffered. This is the last of my worries right now. Right now, I'm more worried about this place.
I'm just curious. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm very ignorant in this kind of things, and whenever I try to help, I feel like I'm useless.
Well, as I had a similar conversation like this with Mr. Gray. We all have our own specialties and our own special talents. Mr. Gray is incredibly keen-eyed, and he knows this place far better than I do. We would be lost without him. And you are a saint. You obviously have some special talents of your own. He gestures to her wings and then realizes she can't see it and says, like, your wings. And also, you have obviously been gifted by His Holiness above. And I'm sure that there's plenty of things you can do that don't necessarily relate to looking through old abandoned places.
When you say that, she jumps a little into you to hug you, and you can feel like the
Ah, boy.
feathers in like in your back and in
Yeah,
your
very
leg.
real.
And she's like, I I'm really thankful, sir. Most people really don't even take the time to empathize.
I can't say you're wrong about that, but stick around. I feel I have a good feeling about people here.
I
I like Miss
will.
Sophia. I like Mr. Gray. Oh my gosh, I feel really bad for forgetting because everybody has messed with his name so far. Who's our yes, thank you. You knew what I was talking about. Mr. is a good sport.
Lucas, right?
Wait,
Oh,
it says his name.
well, you don't have to worry. I'm very bad with names too. I called him Mr. Lucius a while ago.
I am extremely good with names. This is so strange for me, but thank you anyways.
No, it is me, the one who has to thank you for understanding.
Well, obviously we're among different especially here in a. But he like pulls out his little Bible and then realizes that she can't see that too. I'm also a man of the faith, in my own way.
Are you? Oh, that's so sweet. Well, in the end, I shouldn't say this, but in the end, I just believe that we are people, and as long as we are all good towards each other, it shouldn't matter in what do you believe. But don't tell that to anybody because, you know,
I understand. Our sponsor, our sponsor has his own ways of thinking, and honestly, as the group he has sponsored, it's our responsibility to meld with him as best we can. So I understand.
I agree
Will
with
not be
you.
spoken of.
Now, as a last favor before we head back, could you help me find my cloak?
Oh yes, it's right over here. He'll like lead her briefly over, then lean down and take it, put it in her hands.
Oh, you're not gonna wipe the mud off of it?
He looks at it, and he is going to do something really dumb, and like murmur some
I know
arcane
you
words. What?
Yeah, you have the cleaning spell. I remember you mentioned that.
He murmurs some arcane words, and it's clean of mud. And he's gonna say, "Here you go."
What a champ.
Oh, thank you so much. For sure. I didn't mean you do that, but thank you. And she feels like the very clean cloth and puts it puts it over her shoulders and wings and like leans so she looks again like a little hunchback. Like
That
did
must
your
hurt your
would your
back.
character yeah did your character hear the like could your character have heard the spell if you rolled a notice check would your character have reacted to hearing something that sounded kind of like heresy?
And the
Slight
magic you
input.
just
Some-
heard in
some
that.
slight input. He can cast silently at half accumulations.
I can't. I have oral requirement.
He
Oh,
can't.
never mind. You have to talk.
I have to talk.
Yeah.
I don't even have notice, so don't worry.
Okay.
I wouldn't worry.
But you
I
could open
thought you'd
roll.
put some points in that. I remember
yeah,
you
right.
The
you put
most
some points
unobservant blind person.
Roll a 99
I-
for all we know. Or a nat
You
100.
don't take any penalties because it's based on hearing, so you don't have any penalties. But just like roll. Yeah, I think you definitely heard some heresy.
Oh no, it's not heresy.
Okay.
It's...
I heard what he said, right? And I know I kind of know what happened, but I'm not gonna make any commentary about it. I'm gonna make myself the dummy for now because this
Alright.
person has been nice towards me.
Gotcha.
And I will just take it as she thinks I'm talking in weird languages because I do that all the time.
That's also right. I only know Latin, so
I want to see if I know
Um,
Hermital because that would be a fun language for him to talk in all the time. I don't. I do not.
oh, that's so sad.
Okay. Okay. Right. You head back. No. Give me 1 second to get. I think this was.
I don't like this music.
All of you come back to the ruins at about the same time, only to see that there are more people now than there were before. There's a large group of Imperial soldiers, at the head of which is a finely dressed man who's pleasantly chatting with Thomas. This is what he looks like, and he's very well dressed, and he speaks with in very good Latin, barely any accent. Apparently a noble, has like him and all of his men are wearing crosses, and they are, like joking, chatting with Thomas. Most of the guards are kind of at ease, and once you enter the ruins, what's his name? Thomas turns to you and says, "Oh, here she is," and he points to Lustitia and says, "Duke, come, meet the saint that is coming with our expedition." And you hear you hear hooves moving towards you as this mounted noble makes his way in your general direction, and he is going to introduce himself, saying, "I am Duke Chiron Athol. It is a pleasure to meet a saint in my own land. I thought when Queen ordered Lilium to be reestablished as the main religion that we'd never see the likes of you again, and I'm very pleased." And you hear the thud of mud as he steps off of his horse. He's going to grab your hand and kiss it while kneeling in front of you.
I make a little reverence and I jiggle a little bit. Thank you so much. You're such a gentleman. Duke Athol, is that how you say it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I own the keep that is right over the trees over there, and I'm the Duke of a couple of villages around here. Nothing very wide or fancy. I didn't. This place wasn't even important to be a part of the Civil War last year, but rest assured, I'm still. I still have my importance around here. I am one of the only people who is standing up to the tyranny of Her Majesty. I've explicitly forbidden all Lilium rituals and made sure that the locals stay good Christians so that their souls can be saved. And I'm hoping that having you around here will help me further improve the faith and the morale of the people. What would you say if I invited you to dinner for this evening? I'm organizing a banquet. In fact, all of you are welcome. People, it is good to have people from the Empire coming and scholars and the likes. I will gladly speak with you of all the trouble I've been going through in the recent days. What do you say? And a few of the workers, hearing the sound of banquet, are visibly start to salivate, and maneuvering next to you, Thomas is going to basically elbow you, Lustitia, to give an answer. What do you say?
Sorry, what's Thomas going to do?
He elbows you to try to get you to answer to the Duke.
Yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas, but yes, Duke, we will be enchanted if you invited us. I guess people and villagers from here are very proud of having somebody as gentle as you as their Duke.
No, they're a bunch of ingrates. I've been trying to save their souls for years and years, forbidding their archaic rituals and things like this, and they just they don't appreciate my efforts. It's hard being in charge around here, but I'm sure they'll like you. I already do, and yes.
Well, we really
Alright.
really appreciate your hospitality. Thank you so much.
It is settled then. I will have the bear I hunted last week roasted this very evening. Perfect, perfect. Well, let's head back before the rains start again. And he says, "Good work, everyone. Have a nice day." And he heads back towards his keep. Like you can you like he's going to like hang out a little bit, talk with a few people, get to know the members of the expedition that are working for his land. What do your characters do?
I have a very brief question.
Mm-hmm.
I spent Xeon in the flashback. Did I spend it here too?
No.
Okay. Good to know. Well, that's a shame. We barely begun to work on this site, but food sounds good. He looks around, sort of smiling, hoping to get some other smiles from the group.
You were invited to dinner, and like it's just a bit past noon at the moment. So
we have a few more hours?
declares the work day is not over. We're
Okay.
digging up all of this area over there before we even think about going to a banquet.
Okay. I suppose I will make with expediency on that, and he will go and he will dig some stuff up with his little arms, knowing there is a much better way.
Like one of the workers says, "Hold on, let me go and get you a shovel."
That would be better.
Heads off. Yeah. Armand, what do you do?
I return to the perimeter of the excavation and keep an eye out for any dangerous wildlife.
All right.
Which can range from anything from a boar to a wolf to a bear to various leopards. To, who knows?
Maybe one too many weasels.
30 to 50
dragon.
wild boars.
A wandering weasel.
Roll
tribe.
noticed.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you roll? Actually, you asked for it, so it's a search check, not a notice check. Roll for search, please. 2. You are going to spot. There is a person who's not a member of the expedition, who's casually dressed in like white and green like white clothes, green cloak, who's like leaning against who's basically like leaning her head, hiding behind a tree mostly, who's like looking at what's happening. And when she sees you seeing her, she hides behind a tree immediately.
He gives her a moment, like a good solid 10 seconds. I saw you. He just calls out.
Are you like in a
Nice.
distance that I can be heard, that I can hear you, or are you a little further out?
I'm pretty far out. Like I said, I'm outside of the excavation site.
Gotcha.
You see a head popping back up again, and then and then disappear again behind the tree. Like looking at you, seeing that you've spotted specifically her, and then hiding again. It seems to be someone who's fairly young, probably young adult. I've got an image. If you will, just give me a second. What do you do?
I call. Are you from the village nearby?
I'm from around here.
That doesn't really answer the question. That's okay. Why are you watching the excavation?
I'm I'm just curious.
Curious. Why don't you just
Yes.
come up then? You have something to hide.
I do. Everybody has
Really?
secrets.
Oh, yeah?
So like she basically she's going to like come out from behind a tree, and you clearly see that she has this mystical aura around her that is you know atypical for someone who is not
Normal.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and then like she looks at you, you look at her, she tilts her head and says, don't think you know who I am. That's a shame.
I mean, we've never really met before.
She turns around, she runs into the forest, away from you and towards the village.
Towards the where?
The village.
To follow or not to follow? Let's flip a coin. Choose to follow. And I follow. And I'll just follow
Okay.
her. Make sure she doesn't get, or see what happens.
Okay.
I'm not like in a rush, but I'm like walking track.
Gotcha. So she actually, your tracking is really good, so you won't. So I'm not going to make you make a roll. She actually takes a path, turns back around, comes back towards the excavation site, like away from, like the a place where she could be spotted from, and. Near the excavation site, I mentioned that among the yew trees that are right here, there was a large tree with drooping branches, and you reach there, and her footsteps just completely stop out of nowhere just before the excavation site, and there's no trace of her.
Like he moved to like the spot where she disappeared. He looks around. He looks up. He looks at the tree. Are there any like scuff marks, like someone like tried climbing it?
Nope. I mean, like, roll for tracking. No sign at all.
I examine the tree though. I touch it.
Okay. It's real. It's bark.
There's no loose bark. It's not like some secret door I can press it or something.
Unfortunately not.
Just double checking.
That's fine.
Armand is just internally like, this is odd.
Right.
Does the tree have weak points?
The tree does have weak points, just like all of the other trees around it.
Okay. Just making sure. The lack of weak points is sometimes a giveaway.
Yeah, like lack of weak points can only mean one thing. This thing has Gnosis 45 or more, and Gnosis 45 is like gods in general. So
From what I've heard, there's only a single being in the whole world that has it, and it's Tawil at Umir, which is like the god of time.
That's like there's a that should be the Gnosis 50. There's a bunch of creatures that have Gnosis 45, like most of the Aeons. Rudraksha has 45, I think. If I remember
Rakshasa?
correctly. Yeah.
Yep.
No, Rudraksha.
Rudraksha, yeah. That Thunder Mountain.
So, back to Iskaradin, the person who went to get you a shovel has this moment of a shout of surprise and says, "Hey, hey, come here, y'all!" And gathers people around to show that they're like the shovels and a lot of the digging equipment, excavating equipment that was left to the side of the camp is completely broken. Like you see 3 shovels broken like this, and a few more objects that have been shattered and rendered useless.
Want to look at these closely? Do they look like they have been beaten or stamped?
Well, you observe it closely, and like, unlike with the image that I've shown here, the edges of the like breakage are extremely smooth, and it seems like just some pieces just dematerialized or evaporated. Some like the off of the shovels. Clearly not your usual way of breaking things.
That is very strange. Did those men saw off parts of our shovels? And he's like saying this to Sophia mostly.
Now, Sophia is saying, no, I don't think they came into this part of the camp, but well, their arrival did cause a large distraction. Someone from the expedition or from the outside could have done this. This is gonna make our work much harder.
I agree. Maybe the Lord will have some shovels for us. The Duke.
We should ask him, yes.
We should. He reacts favorably to our company.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't give us cross-shaped shovels. It seems to be more his style.
He seems to be into what we're doing here. I mean, whether for the right reasons or not.
Only because we have men like him don't generally like people of science like me. They, I think he's just into us because we have a saint with us.
That may be true. But whichever reason he's on our side, might be able to get some good shovels out of it. He's gonna take some pieces of the shovel and just like fit them back together. This is ridiculous, though. I'm surprised we didn't hear anything. Is everything else okay?
To the side. It seems to be. Not a lot of the other equipment has been, no other equipment has been damaged that I can see. I'll look around just to make sure. And like, in like a lot of the workers of the expedition have gathered around the shovels, and like to the side you see Lucien saying, "Oh no, it's happening again."
Is Carradin's gonna run over to the carriage? Is there anyone in the carriage?
There is no one in the carriage.
Whisper another cleaning spell on the book.
Okay.
Is the presence 40 or less?
It might be more.
Yes, a Bible is definitely a Bible is definitely a presence less than presence 40.
Okay, the big metal one. I was wondering if it was magic, and then he's gonna bring that back to the angel and hand that over.
Okay, bring it back to Lustitia.
You dropped this, by the way.
Thank you so much. She grabs the Bible and she goes like, "Well, I think that if you don't want to ask the Duke for shovels, I can try to fix them."
Has Sophia heard this?
Sophia hears this and turns around and says, "No offense, I'm not sure you have the proper craftsmanship skills."
Oh, you just need a little
You
bit
don't-
of faith.
Okay, go ahead. How much Xeon do you spend, and how much? How much Xeon do you spend, and roll your power roll.
Okay, I'm going to check very quickly the Arcana that I have it right here.
By the way, it's good to remember that we recover Xeon twice as fast here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this place is super mystical. You recover Xeon twice as fast. So you are going to attempt a miracle, by which you're going to use natural magic to cast a spell.
Yes. So I'm going
duh.
to spend how much? What's my ACT? My T. Oh,
Hmm?
magic. Magical accumulation. I have
Right.
60. Okay. So I'm gonna spend, because we got double, 150 Xeon.
Okay, so you get a +4 to your power check.
Yes.
This is a minor repair. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I think this is going to be an effect of this level. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so that you don't know ahead of time what your odds are. But yeah, go ahead and make your check. Oh, I think you must have written plus. Yeah, you wrote +4 in the modifiers. You just need to write 4, because if you write a +4, it just makes your roll be 0 instead. But that
I
would
got a
have been
6.
that would have been 22. Which would have been enough to repair. Is there a presence? There is no presence, but yeah, all of the shovels within 15 feet are repaired. Can you describe what the spell looks like?
Okay. So once Sophia, I tell Sophia to have a little bit of faith. I guess somebody hands me a shovel or two broken. I put them on the floor and I just lean over them. You can see her praying a little bit with her hands, with their palm of their hands facing each other, and leaning over them, she whispers like prayers, and then she puts her hands on top of the shovels, like brings them together, and you can see a little shiny light where they are supposed to be broken, and they're fixed.
Nice.
Do I sense that this is magic?
It's magic.
Yeah, you definitely sense that this is magic. You see a couple of the workers just like doing the sign of the cross. A few of them are like falling to their knees and crying and saying, "It's a miracle!" and like Lucent just like looking at this and saying, "Ah, I'm glad we have another one who can do that." Yeah, Armand, you arrive back to like you've walked all the way back right around this point, and you see Lustitia performing the miracle of repairing 5 shovels.
He just like
Clearly
blinks.
supernatural.
He's more astounded by the he didn't
He's
even
more
know they were
astounded by what?
broken. He didn't even know the shovels were broken. He just
She
sees
has
them.
blessed the shovels.
I was more mystified by the disappearing person than anything. But I returned to the scene to see a hunchback over some shovels and magical energy. I'm like, what? In my mind, I'm just like, huh? What? What's
What
going
did
on
these
here?
people do when I was out of here?
It sure got weird fast.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I suppose, as Garrison also does his little sign of the cross, and he'll take his shovels, like, very delicately and pick it up. I suppose we can continue our work then. And we'll merrily put the shovel over his shoulder and, like, tilt back a little bit and go on his way down to the dig site.
All right. You're instructed to be careful not to break anything by like digging too hard. But yeah,
I will
you
not dig too hard.
All right. The excavation keeps going for the rest of the day. Under the instructions of Thomas, you excavate a few more bodies nestled between the roots of a few of the yew trees. Since the yew tree is used for cremation of bodies, the fact that those bodies are then used as fertilizer for the yew trees that grow around the place seem to fit very much into this circle of life theme that the Lemur religion has. Strangely enough, the skeletons seem to be in extremely good condition and extremely resistant. Despite their old age, they do not seem to have been broken down by the roots, by worms, by decomposition. Seems it's starting to puzzle some of the members of the expedition, but overall that's all that they're going to uncover today. So right now you've got bones under the yew trees, the mural, the pillar, and you've basically understood what most of this place is for. The sun starts to set, and a few and more of the workers are starting to talk about that roasted boar that they want to try while it's still hot, and Sophia reluctantly calls the end of the day, and basically a lot of the members of the expedition start heading towards the village to join the feast.
Roasted boar.
Would
I
your
thought you
characters
said
have done
bear.
anything?
Bear.
I said boar, I think. That I meant to say boar.
Oh, you meant to say boar. Okay.
I was looking forward to eating bear. I've never eaten bear, but boar sounds good too.
Bear's not that tasty, to be honest.
Is it? Oh.
No, it really isn't. But realistically, a wild bear does not taste that great.
Well,
do you do anything in particular during the rest of the day? And do you go with the rest of the group when they head off towards the village?
pretty much as soon as like we get a couple skeletons out, I'm going to. Iskariden's going to excuse himself from digging more and gather and do his best to fit all of the bodies, all the bones of the same bodies back together. Not like to make a whole skeleton, but just to like put them with the rest of their bodies so they can be buried individually. And maybe if the saint would like, we can begin blessing them and preparing them for a second burial after we get this all dug up. Should I make a medicine roll?
Yes. Before that, Lucent, of course, like Lucent is instructed to draw exactly where each bone is found to understand like how the bodies might have been affected by the roots and how they were buried and things like this. So like he does this, then the bones are extracted, inspected. Not a lot of like the only thing that's discovered about them is mostly their puzzling resistance, and then objects, anything that hasn't decomposed, like metal-based objects, are removed, taken to the side, and you can start piecing the bodies back together. there seems to be about one dead body, one body under each of the trees planted all around the ruins. And go ahead and roll for medicine to start putting those humanoid bodies back together. Okay.
Only an idiot.
So you succeed. It's time-consuming work, but you are going to notice something strange. The shape of the skull is leaner than most of the skulls you've seen until now, and the bone structure around the ears seems to be larger, as if like it's hearing organs of those humanoids was larger than that of most humans. Which, to be fair, thanks to your flashback, it's easy to determine that it's elves that have like those large ears.
There's gonna be like a
yeah.
few moments. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say there's gonna be a few moments where he's like looking at some skulls and like kind of putting a hand on his head and on the skull and like trying to see, is this skull too similar to mine? And was the me in the flashbacks one of these skulls? And he's gonna look pretty weird doing that, but let's. Can you say your name again over there?
Me, the blind
Yes.
one.
Yes.
I told you you could call me Lou, but it's Lustitia.
Lustitia, okay. I don't think Lou is going to notice me doing that, so I think we're fine.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay. And for the blessing of the bodies, you have two options. If you have enough occult, you can use the ritual. There's a ritual that is known as I think, yeah, it's called Secure the Path. It's a ritual created by ancient religions to reassure believers that after their deaths they would go straight to the afterlife. There's variations used by the Church of Abel of this ritual. So you could perform this, or you could go hardcore and perform an exorcism, since your character has this banished skill.
Okay.
Lustitia, what's like? Do you go for the invite the spirits to go back to the afterlife, or force the spirits to force whatever is present here to go into the other world?
The thing is that I have very little occult, and yeah, I could try to force them out and that will be more, because I can make a ritual, take my time, and that's probably what I'm gonna try to do. Once they had all the bones of all the dead people like together and organized, I would stand by them and try to just you will not see me praying, but try to make sure. How do I say this? It's weird because I'm blind. Like every single person that brings, I will be, saying like, making the cross on them and saying thank you so much, and waiting until all of them are like ready.
Gotcha. Like the entire time, you see some like Lucents being like, I don't think any of them were Christians. But that's okay. So here's the thing: the requirement to know the Secure the Path ritual is 160, but only 80 if you're a specialist in ancient religions, which you are. Wait,
I have
with that
70.
specialization,
70.
with the specialization, you would get a small bonus. So actually, we're gonna say that it's enough that you know Secure the Path. It costs 150 points of Xeon, and and since this is technically a sacred place,
Yes.
you could it would only last 5 minutes for you to like make sure any souls that are present return to the flow of souls. So just spend 150 Xeon, and you can bless the all of those bodies at the same time.
Well, first I would ask for the help of everybody present.
Okay.
I will give help.
Yes, so I will gather all of you around, even the workers, and Sophia and Thomas and Lucius, whose name's not Lucius, but I'm gonna call him Lucius. Lucent. Is that okay, GM?
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine by me that you like completely misinterpret my NPC's name. I'm
Okay,
not
so
gonna
you
kill
will
for
see
that.
me like asking people around, gathering you all together. I set you up in a circle, and I ask you to grab your hands, to put your heads down, and say, and then I say out loud, "Thank you very much, everybody, for helping me out with this." And when I was back a little child, I had studied a lot, and I really believe that every single body, every single person deserves to have a wonderful rest in the afterlife. And these people who died many years ago are no different. So I put the hands up. I'm like, please.
You completely cut out. Lou, Lou, Lou.
He's going on such a
I can't.
monologue. Oh, no.
I can't hear you. I can't hear anything you're saying.
I don't think you can hear us either.
No, it doesn't seem like he can. Lou.
No. Can't hear you.
No, we can.
By the way, your camera's off to me, Simon.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys could not hear me.
No.
No.
We saw you doing like all the motions, and we were like, nope, can't hear anything.
Okay, where was I?
You thanked everyone for gathering here. You believed every person had a, and then it cut out.
Oh, yes. She believes that every single person deserves to have a wonderful eternal rest in their afterlife. She puts the hands up like, please God, allow these people to be by your side and with your grace. And she tilts her head down and thanks every single one of you. And how does it look, GM? Because I do not know how the ritual looks.
Okay. So basically, so the fulfillment, the body of the deceased must be properly embalmed and dressed in an appropriate ceremonial clothing, which they would have had when they were buried. Every religion has its own ritual for this. Then symbols must be drawn on the deceased body in black ink, and a characteristic prayer song must be sung. So
I have black ink.
All right.
Yes.
So you fulfill all of those steps. You pay the cost in Xeon, and you are certain that there won't be any ghosts inside of this scenario today. And after this is done, you all head towards banquet.
That's another 150 Theon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Oh no, I played this game.
I mean, like, I've stolen maps from like any game that has isometric maps.
That's okay. This is the first game that I've actually played in though, and this is a spooky place.
What is it? Where's it from, more specifically?
Pillars of Eternity.
Never heard of it.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, so you make your way into this little town. Basically, there's like, I know it's an outside wall that protects the town, and then deeper there's a larger wall that's more heavily guarded. that protects the Duke's keep. You head, like you see like a lot of people waving at you as you pass by. Lots of people are talking in Ailish, so Lusticia, I think you wouldn't like really understand what they're saying. Iscaradin and Armand, like you understand that they're basically like they're reacting like they don't know you. You're outsiders, and on top of that, you're invited by the Duke. That most of them do not appreciate that much for having severely banned any Lydium tradition around here. But still, they don't like immediately start throwing rocks at you, so not the worst welcome.
That's good.
You make it all the way to the banquet hall.
Are these drunk people? I hope these guys are drunk.
These the ones at the center are going to be performers. Let me find the an appropriate ambiance for this. I think this one, Mountain Tavern. Okay. So yeah, there's so basically like the people that you see in the center with weapons and stuff. This is also an image from another game. I think it's Banner Saga. But basically, they're just They're going to be reenacting an ancient battle between like Christians and Evens for the pleasure of the Lord and his guests. Members of the expedition just like sit around the different tables. Food is served, and the evening gets started. On the left side, so like Thomas is invited on the left side of the Duke, and Lusticia are invited on the right side. Most of the other members of the expedition are going to be on the side tables. Food has already been brought to some of the guests who were here early, and yeah. Do you accept the invitation to be sitting next to the Duke, Lusticia?
I do accept.
Okay. All right.
Does Sophia
Case
accept?
you-
She's the head of this organization.
She's the head archaeologist, but it seems that Thomas gets the honors this evening. Like, yeah. And your characters, are you going to sit next to anyone in particular from the expedition? Iscaradin and Armand?
I'm
Are
going
you
to sit
like-
with the rest. I'm just going to sit with the crew.
Okay.
If Armand is over here with the crew, I'll sit by him. If he's somewhere else, then I will still be with the crew.
I'll sit next to
Armand?
Sophia.
Okay. In this case, yeah, you're both. Sophia is with like the rest of the crew, so you're going to be sitting like on this side here. Well, no, actually, I don't have to flip your character tokens if I put you here. Next to Sophia. Okay. The evening starts. Mead is brought into horns from which you can drink. The local food is brought to the tables. The boar is roasted on the central fire and then cut into pieces for every guest to have a little bit. The people sitting at the Duke's table get extra shares. And a band of musicians is going to start playing some local music, which Lucent knows those songs and is going to join. I think this one. Yes. Okay. while the evening progresses, Thomas and the Duke are progressively getting more and more drunk and talking with each other about the like they're basically talking about the Lilium religion and their findings at the ruins, and both of them are basically talking shit about that religion and the people who follow it, like very much in a like European Christian mindset, and like the Duke makes very bad jokes about this, but the people at his table are politely laughing in his company. He's got a wife and a kid who have moved aside from where they were sitting next to him in order to like let him talk to Thomas and Lustitia, and like he tries to get to know both of you a little bit more. Lustitia, do you politely? How are you reacting to this?
Okay,
Huh?
I do not laugh polite. I do not laugh or anything, but I do very pay close attention to what he's saying. I look him in the eye. However,
Do you?
after
Well, do you look him in the eye?
yeah,
You look at his general direction.
you're right. I'm still
It's okay.
trying my best. It's I have this. I can't see anything. I still forget I'm blind.
Because it's the way we describe our characters acting. It always has like the same things that come back over and over
Yeah.
when we make these descriptions. So no worries.
Well, I do not laugh at what he's saying or anything, but I pay attention to it, and after a while, I do not eat much. I do not. My focus of attention when he becomes a little bit drunk turns to his wife and his daughter, you said?
I think he has a kid. I know his kid has a name, but I just didn't make a character sheet for either of them. Just give me 1 second. His wife is also politely laughing. His kid doesn't seem to find it to find anything that's happening tonight very interesting. Like everybody is in awe at your presence, but the kid just doesn't seem to care that there's a saint in his house.
Well, I go to like I lean towards the child and I'm not looking anywhere, but hello, and I look around. Is this the child of the Duke?
Yeah. What is his blah blah blah? Oh, they didn't give him a name in this description. Okay. My name is Sigda.
Oh, Sigda. Are you having fun? Oh, come on.
I'm just
don't-
worried. This
Why are you worried?
person with scars on his face. He's got a strange aura. It's like has weird colors around him, and like he's looking straight at Iskaradin Row.
So you don't know where he's looking.
Yeah. I don't see why Daddy invites weird people here.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Well, I cannot tell because, well, as you see, I can't see much. But we'll go to play.
Sorry?
You can't come
You
out.
cut
of
out.
it.
Huh?
You cut out.
Can you repeat what you said?
Oh, I cut out. I'm sorry.
Can Yeah.
I say to the kid, would you like to go out and play?
Yeah, actually, I would like that. Daddy doesn't like let me get off the table until dinner's over most of the time, and like you can see he's looking hopefully to. Well, you can't see that, but you hear the creaking of the table as he leans over to try to like get his father's approval, and like maybe if you suggested it, he'd say yes.
Duke
if he liked
Aethel, apologize my intrusion, but may your child and I stand up from the table and hang out a little bit. I would like to talk to him. He seems a very smart child.
Ah, yes. Well, of course. I'm sure you can be a good influence on him. He tends to fall asleep during mass, so go right ahead. And like you're permitted to like go back to the outside of the banquet hall. Iscaradin and Armand, you see. Yeah. You see them starting to leave. Are you going to do something?
Well,
Could I have a quick say something that I have been doing up until this point? Well,
ahead.
actually, I need to roll for it. This is a roll to see if I know. Let me make sure I can know it. I can. Nipranus. I cannot. Never mind. I will not do what I was going to do. So we see them leaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
by the way, may I grab like a bowl of food, like of bread or something with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. You make your way outside. You're going to be in like this courtyard around the houses. Those houses are basically just the no, wait. Oh, I fucked up. Okay.
Oh, by the
my
way,
bad.
before like I go out with the kid, I would like to like go and see how's the crew doing while they're eating.
The crew's pretty happy. It's better food than the rations they've had on the way here. Most people are happy. Lucent is like eyeing uncomfortably the Duke's table every time he hears the laughter of a joke being made. You can see that like. You know that Lucent is native to Alberia.
Grumpiness.
Yeah, you can hear that. Oh yeah, you. Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my descriptions are usually very visual, so it's gonna be some work for me to get better at that as well. Yeah.
Well, because I see
Everybody
Lucent
seems to be. Everybody sounds like they're having a good time.
and my fellow players.
Iskardin's having a good time. He is eating a good bit, and he's like leaning back in his chair with his book on his like lap, leaning against the table. And he's looking Armand is like, so, you know English and Latin. Do you know any other languages?
Well, I might. He said
You
that
might?
he drinks some mead. And he was in the middle of a conversation with Sophia, making small talk. He was trying to ask her that he came across a girl in the woods watching the excavation. He wants to know what's the protocol for like if someone's like watching them, like what's he supposed to do about it, or what he's allowed to do.
we had a chief of security in the previous
I
expedition.
didn't really know was he supposed to pull
Very-
over Bo, tell it to go away. Like he wasn't really sure at that
Oh,
point.
civilians are fine. From what we observed, like when we arrived, there were footsteps in the mud. I think some of the civilians still go to that place and might try to honor some of the ancient rituals, but well, it's forbidden according to the Duke. This place isn't really ours, and we're just trying to get some answers. We're as long as they're not like a threat, as long as somebody coming into the camp isn't a threat, there shouldn't be any problem. And well, if somebody clearly has some weapons or disruptive intentions, then we'll call upon you to help out. You were asked to help out with security, correct? On top of guiding us?
Armand nods. Yes. I am quite the
That's
archer, you know.
Well, I hope you never have to prove them to me in a fight, but maybe if the Duke gives us the permission, you might be able to prove that by giving us some by showing us how good of a hunter you are. And that's about when like Iscaradin
Chimed in.
was trying to chime in. Iscaradin.
He's like, go ahead.
Sorry. I was wondering because of all the strange things that happened today. You can go on with your conversation. And he's watching Lou leave with the kid.
That he like leans in real close, using the hubbub of like the feast to hide their conversation. He whispers, "Well, in the dreams and visions, I can sometimes recognize words in rooms I've never seen before."
He's gonna like slide back the page he's on, just like reveal a little bit on the next page, and it's gonna be in Elven, if you will allow, and it'll say like, "Do you recognize this?"
What was it? What was it? It was like Na something.
Nipranus is what you speak.
Not Dark
it's,
Elven. It's
so-
right. It's only
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
It's like one of you knows Elvish and the other one knows Dark Elvish, and so like you don't recognize those runes.
And he shakes. He says, "I don't recognize those."
All right. I guess it was a bit much to hope for, but what must be must be.
Right. Before I put you out there, I have something else to do. Just give me 1 second. You're still in the banquet hall. You reach the doors when, like, somebody walks in. It's this person who looks kind of okay. So she's like hunched over, looking kind of old. At least in the way that she moves, she's got this like cane about her that she's helping to her to move around, and she has all of those bandages on her all over her body, beneath which you can see some very red burn marks in some of the places that are visible, and she's been let in by the guards, and like she's at the very entrance of the hall. What do you want to say, Sam?
Did you have a picture?
Not yet. Basically,
Okay.
because of the bandages and you don't like see much of her yet. You might later in the scenario, but as of right now,
That's cool.
all
I thought
have
like the
for
way you were describing her, I thought you were describing a picture. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see one right now. Yeah.
all I have for you is this token right here,
Oh.
and she is wearing this very old green cape that has, you know, the Celtic cross on it. It's a very specific symbol that's from like where my grandparents are from, and she's stepping in, and there's a little bit of quiet that falls on the assembly as Lustitia was about to leave. Do you want to say anything, Sam?
Can I sense magic?
Oh yeah, go ahead and make your your sense magic check. Blah blah blah.
I can sense magic within a mile as long as it's not obscured.
Okay. Oh wait, no, that's not the right one. It's this one. Blah blah blah. So if I'm not doing any spells, is it just my skill against yours?
Yeah, I think I actually get a small penalty for sensing it. Let me take a look.
I'll let you check.
I need to succeed by 40 over yours.
You did. You do detect some magic coming from this person. And her staff.
Cool. If I succeed by over 80, I can compare. I can like look at the power levels, and I can have a scooter scanner and tell how powerful they are compared to me.
Gotcha.
Overnight.
Armand, that's also something that you perceive. This person has this weird mystical aura about her. She makes her way into the hall and like turns her head to the side where most of the members of the expedition are and says, "It is customary for outsiders help each other in these parts. Would you help an old lady fill her empty stomach? Please, I'm a fellow outsider like you." And she extends her hand towards like that table. She says, "I will only ask once. Do not mean to disturb this feast." And the Duke gets up, says, "Gone hag, your old traditions hold no sway over this Christian household. Where we're not bound to do as you like just because you're hungry." She says, "Fine, fine. No food for me, I suppose." And she starts to move her cane, to maneuver her cane around, and heads towards the door. Lustitia, you're still there. What do you do?
Is Kirador like half getting up out of his seat, and he like looks at Armand?
He's also standing up, and he quickly pockets some food quietly.
Is Caradin will do the same.
Okay.
And when the old
We're gonna
woman-
go for a walk, Mr. Gray.
Yes, let us escort our saint.
Right.
Yes. So we're all together.
Yes.
Yep.
As
you're
they're
all
going
together.
out, he's gonna look at Armand and say, "Did you sense anything on that woman?"
Whatever, what do you mean? And then he smirks at him.
I can't deal with this. Let's go.
So you make it back. You make it like to the wall towards the outside of the keep, and catch up to this not very quick, old-looking woman covered in bandages, and I think Lustitia is going to be present for this scene. What do you do?
Nearby.
I call out, "Madam, but a moment."
What do you want?
Well, I've come to give you some food, as per your request. Customer, no. A hungry person shouldn't be allowed to eat.
Fine.
if one has the ability to help. And then he
She
gives it
extends
to
her
him.
hand. Okay. She
Good
takes
job.
the bread from you, nibbles a little bit of it, puts it in one of the large pockets inside of her green cape, and she grumbles something.
I'm sorry we didn't have any
Maybe next
butter.
time.
That's very hard to take with us.
Also, Lustitia, you also left with some food.
Yeah.
So do you you're also present for this scene, and so is Sigdal. You can see Sigdal is staring at exactly the same thing that Iscaridinro is saying, is like the shapes and colors around this person indicating that she has the gift. You think this kid does not have the gift, but he has see supernatural based on your observation. This Iscaridin, like you're enough of a scholar to know this. Armand, you recognize that he has a similar eyesight as you.
Well, from the bowl of food I do have, I'm holding the kid with one hand and the bowl of food with the other. I will extend the bowl to the women and said, I'm sorry, I do not know you, but if you want some, you can." And I extend the bowl a little bit.
She takes the entire bowl from you and says, "It's good to keep the old traditions alive. All of them have a certain wisdom about them. Well, I guess that's all I'm gonna get from the outsiders tonight. Nobody else is coming out. But
Well,
I do look, and I'm saying I'm sort of surprised that Lucian isn't out here.
like,
Oh, Lucas, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Lemon.
lemon.
Not even close. Lime?
Like,
I approached the
Yeah.
young boy. So you're the Duke's son. Like he squats in
Yes.
a friendly manner. You can see things too,
and like,
huh?
your eyes have strange colors in them.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
He like pats him on the head. People won't believe what we see. But, and then he looks at the older lady. It's never good to get on their bad side. And he gestures towards people with the strangeness about them.
Well, sometimes getting on my bad side is something that can't be avoided.
Like I said, avoid it. Just some old words of wisdom from a ranger.
I think what Armand says is very wise. Can I carry the kid on like my hands with both hands?
He's like, I think he's gonna be something like 6 years old.
Okay.
So like,
So he's a big
yeah.
kid.
Old madame.
Yeah,
or
he's a big-
madam.
Okay, then no.
You are a
ta-
follower
ta-
of the
ta.
Lydian religion in these parts?
I honor the old traditions that are
Would
called
you-
Lydium by people like you. Yes.
Would you happen to know anything about the ancient site that we are currently visiting? And then he gestures like that far into the woods.
Yes. I would.
Would you mind sharing such knowledge? If you require more from me, I guess I could spare some of my rations.
Well, it's been here for a really long time, and every year, both every year, people meet there and share same things they've always shared, and keep the cycle going by sharing. Fortunately, well, the Lord acting the way that he does is not going to keep on going for much longer. When cycles break, well, lots of things end up breaking as well. If I were you, I would hurry out. There's not much more time before, well, cycle has started, and I don't think anybody's gonna end it. She turns around. She starts to head off.
That was helpful.
Rather ominous.
I don't believe that old woman knows what she's talking about.
Maybe she lets on more than she knows.
Maybe. But, well, that's not why we came here, because you wanted to play. Do you have any friends? I asked to the child.
The child like points towards the house and says, "I'm friends with Liam, the herborist's son."
Well,
Like,
I'm gonna go. You can guide me there, and I can make sure you guys play, and you're fine.
you can play with us too.
Oh, really? Well, I
Yeah.
will. I will be enchanted to. Meanwhile,
Nice.
can you guys try to keep finding out about that old place? We would really want to know what's going on there before anything bad could happen.
Suppose I have eaten my pills, so I could do a little bit more research. I also would just like to talk to you, Armand, if that's okay.
Well, you looked her out. We're outside. Might as well.
Okay.
It was getting a little stuffy in there anyway.
I agree. So, as they like move just a little bit away and let the child go and get Liam, he'll say, "What are you talking about that I do? What thing do I do that you mentioned? Did you mention before?"
Oh, you're still curious about that? Yes.
Yes.
You're a lot like the other people I've seen around here. It's a strangeness to them,
Like,
waving their hands and.
like that woman over there, the woman walking away.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. It had me really worried.
All right, yeah, I was totally not aware of your flower pressing habits.
I don't have any of those. Anyways, in that same regard, you have something on you that I have sensed. And it's made of silver.
It may not.
No, actually, I'm sure it's made of silver.
All right then.
What, may I see it?
No.
Whatever.
It's rather. I can't really. I'm not really in a position to share it.
Whatever it is, I think it was made at that campsite.
Not like you haven't seen it though.
That's very vague. Are you trying to out vague the old lady?
I'm in a rather mystical mood right now. He's just like smug. He's just looking really smug.
Oh, you're just like Hugh.
Who?
Hugh is my teacher. He's very far away right now. But
Sounds like a good friend.
well, yes, he is an excellent friend. But that's not the point. So, you know what I can do, and
Not really. I just know you can do things.
you know I can do things, and you're okay with that.
Why wouldn't I? They're all over the place.
Well, that woman, he points to Lou, and others might be less inclined to think that. If you have explored much outside of Alberia, you'll know there's an entire organization dedicated to murdering people like
Oh
that.
yes, the Inquisition.
Yes.
They were here not over 2 years ago.
Well, they're everywhere, and they're still there today.
Mm,
Or they're everywhere else, and they're still there today.
I trust what my eyes can see, and not what they believe. I've never seen these people abuse their powers to do the terrible things they say, so I have no reason to fear them.
Then you're very, that's very intelligent, and also you're, lucky. If you'll help me, I think I can solve this a little bit quicker if I can use what I have in search of more evidence.
Well, as Garrison, you lean closer. The entire excavation party's at the hall, leaving
Yeah.
the excavation site currently empty.
Yes, it's true.
So if you did want to do anything extra, now would probably be the best time.
Well, I've learned all I can from the site, but speaking in the future, this rhyme mentions, and he has his book open, he mentions the brother of Fortinbras. Fortinbras was the woman in that first dream, so who are you?
I guess that makes me the brother. And then the arrows.
Have you received any arrows?
Yeah, and the vision, didn't you remember? He gave me one.
Shoot. Well, obviously, I couldn't have done that. That's ridiculous. They said they were made of silver. Or dipped in silver.
Yeah? Yeah.
I give you a vaguely suspicious look.
He's smirking.
I currently cannot tell the shape of the mineral with detect minerals, can I?
I would say you have a pretty good idea what's happening.
I was saying,
Yeah, like
well, I'd like to know for certain, and you're being very mysterious.
Fine. Yes, I have it.
Excellent. Do you know my name when I'm there?
No.
Morlias is what I said.
All this. Oh, right. Were you in the ride? I don't think it was.
In the what? In red? No. Fortinbras was in the red. I'd like to know more about whose vision history. I'd like to know more about who I've been looking through this entire time. I have to do some research, I guess.
At the least.
In the meantime, just don't mention it to anyone in our party. Where should we start looking apart from that old woman who plainly doesn't want to talk to us anymore?
I didn't come across someone else mystical.
Did you? Where?
Why don't we go for a walk?
Let's.
Hello.
Okay.
Carrot cat.
Yes.
you are going to
Cat.
start.
Right to
You
the
start
willow.
heading off. Huh?
We're heading to the willow
You're-
tree.
Okay, you're heading to the willow tree. Okay, so you're heading out. Lusticia, you're going to hang out in town. You are going to get the opportunity to talk with a few of the villagers, the parents of the kids, and things like this. They
No,
are
fine. Let them go. I want to see what
okay.
they're
Okay.
gonna.
Okay. Like if you want, I can make you roll streetwise if you want to acquire rumors and information in general. And I know you're talented in a lot of social skills, so I just want, like, if you want to roll for that, and like ask and gather information and like think about what you want to gather in terms of information. We can move back to you once I'm done with this scene. So you head back towards the ruins. You are going to find yourselves in a like grove to the side of the ruins, where a willow tree is planted. Just give me 1 second. Blah blah blah. To prepare
Like
this
on the
thing.
walk, he explained what he came across outside the site. Another strange mystical woman who I tracked. I followed her, and they ended here. Seeing as you're also a mystical man, perhaps you could tell me more about the disappearing. You're muted.
So you reach this place.
Yes.
So you reach this place, and like this is the trunk of the willow tree that's growing in the middle of like a few other yew trees.
Okay.
And the footsteps just end here.
Can I sense anything through your magical senses?
Go ahead and roll magic appraisal.
That is right here. Oh. Dang it, my magic appraisal's not very good.
I know the magic presence is
you
really
need-
good. The roll was bad.
You need to pass by more than 40, correct?
To detect, yes.
Okay.
Not quite.
No. There's nothing magical around here.
And this is it just like it ends in a tree or ends like in a grove?
Specifically,
It's
this
like-
tree.
Yeah, it ends specifically at the foot of this tree.
And he pats the tree. This specific tree, the tracks have ended. With nowhere else in sight.
There's like I look behind the tree. What's behind the tree?
More trees,
More trees.
but no footsteps. Yeah. You can roll for occult. I'm gonna say it's difficulty 120.
Jesus Christ!
Whew.
Suspicious of dryads.
Oh, open roll.
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Oh
you
wait,
are
no,
suspicious
not that
of-
much.
there
we go.
Yeah,
inhuman.
340. That is the inhumane difficulty reached. Yeah, you know about dryads. You know about dryads being. There's 7 types of dryad for 7 types of trees that can birth dryads, and one such tree is the willow tree. I think you're muted. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
can I
muted.
use those who walk among us to tell what kind of trees those or dryads those?
Yes.
Thank you. Looking over the eggs.
You are looking for the information that I'm
I
putting
have
on the
found it.
screen for the players right now.
Good. Yes. Hello. We're not
so you
going to
are-
hurt.
You see this this young lady. She seems to have been following you. Appear from like from behind a few like a few of the yew trees in the back, and she says, "What do you want?"
To know more about the site down there, and in my case, more particularly, the writings on that column. Also, how are you? Hi, my name is Iscariot Rowe, and he's going to go try to shake her spooky hand.
And I'm Armand.
She shakes your hand and says, "Oh, think I mistook you for someone else.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm starting to
You
see
look
where
like
that might become
someone.
a problem for me in the future. There you go.
You have a familiar face.
Do I? I would say my face is very unusual. And so rubs his hand down his cheek. So,
Very unique, I agree.
thank you. Thank you. Uh,
It
we
definitely
are,
turns heads.
yeah. We have come to explore the site down there, and have come across some discomforting or roadblocks. And I was told by Mr. Rowe that you may be of a supernatural knowledge in nature, which I think I have proof of, and would like to ask you for help.
Right. Well, I'm of a helpful nature. I'm Willow.
Nice to meet you. Do you know what that pillar down there, the scripture on it alludes to?
Yes. It was written just a little bit before I was born, but it was a prophecy made by the Queen of the Banshees. Banshees are known to cry and make prophecies just before heroes die. But Lysandra only ever made one prophecy and produced more tears for this prophecy than any banshee than all of the banshees combined have since.
And they made items from it. Arrows?
Yes, among other things.
By the way, that herbal lore was for me to look at the tree and try to tell how old she is without asking.
I was about to say.
Uh,
But
very old.
Okay.
From your best guess, supernaturally old.
Okay, older than most willow trees.
Yeah.
Is it like a particularly big willow tree?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's a prophecy.
Yes, but I'm not sure if all of it has come to pass already.
No, I hope not. He like looks at Armand. That would be bad. As I remember, the very last phrase of it is that it's time to die again.
ah, yes. What
Well,
was
the people in concerned, they've disappeared from the world for a really long time. So I think most of it's already
was
gone
it the
and
third
done.
or fourth verse? Was it, bro? It was arrows were the brother of fortune brought, like the others you will die at last. Very cryptic. Definitely
So-
put a smile on my face.
We're interested also partially because of some visions we've been having relating to that very topic.
Visions?
I smiling at Armand, I have seen visions, glimpses of elves and dark elves in this land speaking to one another. I had a vision of standing in a location quite like that, but new and standing and with people still inside and working happily to a degree. And
I'm
then
offended.
why? What? I'm sorry.
You remember
Why are you
them?
offended?
Them?
Yes. Remember the others, but not me.
Well, from what I know, the arrows were just made. Maybe everything wasn't even made. So you might not have been born at the time of this memory, if that is what I'm seeing.
But how? You're a human,
I am
not an elf. Neither
Not
of you
an
are
elf.
elves.
definitely not elves.
Definitely not. But he has
This is very
visions of
strange.
being an elf.
I do have visions. I don't have visions that I'm an elf. I have visions of elves. Either one sounds crazy. Uh, we're here
I'm
to
sorry.
uncover.
I've got something to take care of. I have to go and do a little bit of cooking.
Ah,
Maybe we can meet at the campsite tomorrow and talk some more.
There will be people at the campsite tomorrow.
That's fine. We can meet on the at the entrance.
Did you break our shovels?
No,
the shovels are broken.
that was more.
That was who?
That was Morgana. She really doesn't appreciate. Well, she does. She doesn't think humans are capable of respecting traditions.
Well, is Morgana another dryad like yourself?
Well, not like myself. I'm a willow. She's a hawthorn.
What does that mean?
A hawthorn is another kind of tree, and they are. Wow,
What does that mean?
Yeah.
they're very mean.
Oh,
They're also red, white, and blue.
that's really odd. I've never.
That is odd.
Tomorrow. Bring the
Tomorrow.
bring the blind lady with you.
Oh, okay, she's a saint.
I know.
All right then.
All right,
Blind lady.
bring the blind lady.
And like she's gonna like start skipping away, and like just disappears among the trees. Not in a very supernatural way. Just she
So like
heads off.
Armand. Cool. Go ahead. So Armand turns to the scared. You know, you could. Why did you ask her about your name?
I should. Well, I knew what my name was. It's Morlas. I said that to the brother of Fortinbras.
Yeah. But why didn't you ask the dryad about it? Didn't we come here so you can get questions on yourself?
No, we came here so we can get questions about the pillar
Oh, well,
and the campsite and the site down there.
that's how we figured it out. You know.
Well, now we know that apparently that was a ritual told by a Banshee Queen.
I wonder.
is-
I wonder if she's pretty. The Branchy Queen. He like rubs his chin.
Do I know? Aren't Banshees usually pretty?
Usually they are. Of course, you
Okay,
rolled a
usually.
69 for the
No.
over the roll to know if
No.
someone is hot.
The bad number.
This character's got a mean streak.
I think that she might be. It's a quality of most Banshees.
He just rubs his chin some more. Interesting.
Let's go back
There's a hall.
and watch out for ladies with very, very, very pale skin, because that's what hawthorns look like.
Yes, I'll keep an eye out for them.
Thank you. Also, their
You-
hair is also usually white.
Interesting.
Yes.
Like my hair?
Possibly even shinier.
Oh.
By the way, this is the image that I have for Morgana.
Oh boy.
I found
I've
this
told a
image.
lie.
She looks. I really like this image. I thought she looked really
It is a
cool.
pretty cool image.
Yeah. Anyways,
We can see her powers too, though. I guess I would know
that's
them
fine.
because I
forget.
open rolled.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah. You head back towards the city, Justicia. You were trying to get. Were you trying to get some information, or was that somebody else who mentioned trying to get some information? Yeah. What have you been doing?
Okay, I would actually like to have a conversation with the children, and if I heard rumors while walking on town, that's cool. So I'm gonna roll for
All right.
what's the street thing called?
Streetwise.
Street.
It's under your social skills. Okay. You. What are you trying to get to hear rumors about?
Okay, I want to hear because we just are like right here in very close to this village in a sacred place. And I see that people doesn't like much Christianity, so I just want to know like their opinion on it, because I know that they don't like it, but like specifically, is there a reason that place is like special? Like, oh my God, they are in the sanctuary of God named X. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Basically, the Lilium religion doesn't have worship. Like it's all like centered around the goddess of the earth, the heroes called the Limb Seeds, and the 7 or 8 trees that embody different things. But you like there isn't a single person who's a fanatic of Lilium. It's not meant. It's a much more like passive religion, and like the druids. Like most of the religious rituals are not done with the public, but knowledge of Lilium is transmitted through songs by the bards and stuff like this. So this place seems to be somewhat important to people, and you feel a lot of anger because it is very close to being the summer. I think it's not the equinox, solstice, or the summer solstice, which is the time at which a certain ritual has to be performed every year, and people are getting frustrated because not only it's forbidden, and there have been punishments for attempts to perform this ritual, but also which is like a sort of weird prayer from what you gather, but also the fact that your expedition is there is kind of getting in the way, so you feel like it has to do with the ruins.
Okay.
Don't gather much more information with your 63.
No, it's fine. That's just perfect.
Yep. All right. You play with the children a little bit. What do you want to ask? I think Igdal was his name.
Sigma?
Sigdal. Sigdal. Yes, Sigdal.
Well, while we're walking back to the castle, because I don't want him to be like laid in there and the dude having my head cut off or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which I okay, so I'm gonna ignore that. While we're walking back, I just want to know, hey, did you have fun, Sigma?
I did. You're surprisingly good at playing hide and seek. For someone who can't see.
Oh well, you kids are actually very good at hiding. I could not hear where you went after I was counting.
Oh.
Do you do?
Just don't found us with.
I'm so.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was not my purpose to interrupt you.
It doesn't matter. It's not important. Dad,
Okay.
Dad says it's better to listen to the wisdom of older people, especially people, the father and people from the church. So I'm listening.
Yes, but still, you have to do what you want, what your heart tells you to do. You can, if you're because if you don't follow your heart, you might be sad in the future. Don't you think so?
I'm already sad.
Oh,
I don't understand. There's so many things in the forest, and those things are getting angry. And the people in the village are getting angry. Everybody's angry at my father. I don't want anything bad to happen to him.
oh, it's your friend Lucas also angry?
I think he's too young. All of the grown-ups are, though.
Okay. Are they angry with you or your father?
I think sometimes I'm not sure. I think grown-ups get us mixed up because we're
Oh,
from the
they
same
should.
family.
Oh, but they shouldn't get mad at you. You're just a child. But that's fine. Do you want to go back home? Are you hungry?
I'm thirsty. Let's go.
Okay. So I take the kid to the keep to the castle. Is the duke or the family there?
Yeah. You get there to find the Duke passed out from trying to outdrink one of his own cook, and completely wasted. It seems to be the tail end of the banquet. People are finishing their plates and gathering up the scraps and like servants are gathering up the scraps for their own meal. Members of the expedition are like stretching, getting up, finishing their horns of ale. You see your two friends Iscaridin and Armand coming back inside as well. What do you do?
I would like to leave the kid with his mother,
Okay.
and afterwards I would like to talk to Lucent and Sophia.
As you're about to leave, the kid says, Miss Lusticia, do you think it's better? Do you think it's better to be blind or to see things you're not supposed to?
Well, I could not tell because I have lived my whole life being blind, but I know that once I accepted who I am, I felt way better about it. And sometimes people don't like that. Sometimes people don't like me because I'm blind. But the important thing is caring about those people that like you the way you are.
I like you the way you are.
I
And
also
he's gonna-
like you. You're very nice.
Alright, I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm tired.
Have a good night, and if you wanna play again, you know where to find me. Then
Where do I find you?
you can ask your father. I don't know. I cannot find you.
But you said I knew where to find you.
Yes.
Is this in my heart or something to do with the church? I don't know where to find you.
Oh, are you playing with me? Well, if you want.
No.
You,
I'm
well,
just confused. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep.
go to sleep.
Yeah, he heads off.
I stand up and head back to my crew.
Right. You head back to your.
Dude, the kid just
Yep.
are.
The kid what?
The kid trolled me. Oh Jesus!
I'm trying to do my best to imitate my own interactions
No,
with
it's
children.
amazing. It's
And
amazing. I like
I
it.
feel like I'm doing an okay job. Right, your characters gather up again. You, we're gonna say that you head home. Head towards the campsite again, where your tents have been pitched earlier by some of the workers. You fall asleep. Have some dreams that mix different of the some of the mystical elements that you've been involved in for the past few days. And at dawn in the next morning, you wake up to find that scattered throughout the camp, protected by either pieces of cloth or like under the pillars, there are a few platters of silver filled with cooked chickens, surrounded by berries and pies. And nobody in the camp seems to know where these came from. And we are going to end this game session on this little mystery. And next time we are going to, I think, probably finish the scenario next time. I feel like I really like this game. There wasn't any combat, there wasn't any action, but like we got to know the characters. We we got some really interesting interactions, and like I like the way your characters are interacting with each other and interacting with my characters. I feel like this is going to be like a very interesting game. So thank you very much for participating, and I'm going to stop the recording now. Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day everyone.